What's up,
Good evening.
guys? How are we?
We are wonderful.
Doing fantastic.
We have a new person in the screen.
That is awesome.
Up in the top left-hand corner.
Oh,
Who?
what? Who? What?
Got a man that's about 20
What
pounds
are we
lighter.
talking about?
No,
Yeah.
he didn't lose weight, folks.
It
He's an
came off.
imposter.
He's the anti-Danny.
He's the good Danny. That one, the other one was the evil twin. Ha ha. Or was
You're good, Ash. He's bad, Ash.
it?
Speaking of that,
Hey. It is good. What? What do you got?
we watched.
What do you got?
We watched Zombieland Double Tap today. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah. I have.
Now, I won't say it was great because I mean it literally felt like the Hangover movies, the same jokes kind of rehashed. But when Luke Wilson pulls up in that monster truck and crushes the Beast, and they face off, I don't like you at the same time, and then the other guy gets out and he looks just like
well, I don't
Columbus.
like you.
And the girlfriend's like, "Do you see anything strange about all this?" And Columbus is like, "What? What? There's nothing wrong with this. He's got commandments. I got rules." He was totally different.
So,
Jonathan Chong's
before we
comment
go
wins.
further with this, yes, exactly. We got this. Exactly. You know, I can't help it. Sorry. I mean, look, I had a new set. I had to do something else. I mean, come on, everything's got to go change here. Channel ain't changing though, just the look, you know.
He's going to be a real boy.
Oh man, so we got Jonathan here. Wendell live. How are ya? Barefoot Adventure. What is going on? Patrick, what's up, buddy? Who else we got? Griswold family vacay. What is up?
It's good to see everybody in here.
I think that's you know, more the better. That's what we say. But if there's one, we're going to entertain you, no matter what.
You may as well be here. You can't go out anywhere. At least not yet, unless you're in.
Even if you could, where else would you go on a Tuesday night? That's this fun.
Bed.
Oh, yeah. Lena's an early girl.
I mean, really, like I hear you, but not really.
To hang out in the coolest room in the world right now.
I am foregoing sleep. I'm usually asleep by like 9 o'clock because the alarm goes off at 4:30 in the morning, and so,
yeah.
And she is dead to the world unless she rolls out of bed.
Yeah.
And sees the messenger.
You got that one too.
Yeah, snazzy.
You got that one too from Patrick. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm foregoing sleep.
Me and Lena are going to get drunk on the stream.
Now I have to say, if I get drunk off
right.
one Michelob Ultra, then we have a problem.
Yeah, you're right.
I am not 21 anymore.
Hold on.
So
it just wouldn't be a stream if Danny didn't screw up the camera.
Oh, stop.
Oh, there he goes.
Now it's just me and you.
Speaking of random, as usual, Danny's camera randomly went off.
Actually, that's okay. Before you were backstage, it was just him and I. It kept going to just me. I'm like, well, I'm glad we're not live. They really didn't come here to see me.
You know, he either bumps a wire or reaches out and bumps the camera, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, what do we want to talk about, folks?
Pretty much. Oh, Patrick, I will I was chatting with my husband earlier about my hair. You could tell how long it's been since I've had it like colored and stuff, and I was examining it way too close. And I started finding white and gray hairs, and I'm now traumatized.
Yeah,
I'm only 32.
I quit counting because I found out that I ran out of fingers and toes a long time ago.
I'm sure if I examined more than just a little bitty amount that I had, that I'd find a lot more, and that'd probably make me cry.
Danny will be back in. He said he's restarting his laptop, so.
Poor Danny.
So we're just here to entertain everybody until Danny comes back. I mean,
pretty much.
You know, that laptop has probably been on and running all day without any problems, and as soon as we go live, the gremlins
That's exactly
take it.
It's how it always goes, and it's like, what the heck?
You know, for most people that don't stream, they don't realize when you use StreamYards, there's a quote unquote backstage. And I have a new laptop that only has one single mic / headphone port. Now I have a plug and play adapter that goes into the USB, and it gives me both. Mm-hmm. And I come in, and Danny and Lena are just looking at me like, we can't hear you. And then I kept trying different hookups, and then all of a sudden it's like, we don't hear you at all. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just use the external mic.
I actually, when I was doing some cleaning, probably 4 weeks ago now at this point, I found a pair of my wireless Bluetooth headphones, and I was able to actually connect them into my computer. And so I'm using the internal mic of my computer and my headphones, and it works so much better than being like manually plugged into my computer, because like I think we ended up talking about mixed drinks or something one morning, but I was able to go and run and start my husband's lunch while I was on stream.
Yeah, my thing with it is I like the mic because especially when I'm downstairs in the fallout shelter, the chair is nice and comfy, and I like to sit back so I can bring that mic closer so that I don't sound so drowned out.
Right.
Sorry,
Patrick, to turn on the air conditioner.
Going with what you're talking about, I believe that all of the parks are going to kind of go with the Shanghai Disney format that they've been using. They're rolling everything out in pieces.
Stages.
At Shanghai, they started with just a couple of the restaurants within the resorts, along with the resorts opened. The restaurants were pretty much like 20% capacity, if even that. And they're getting ready, I believe, to go into stage 2, which is a soft opening of, it'd be stage 3. I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, I haven't followed it closely enough. But anyways, I believe where they're going to open one of the parks, just because there's 2 at Shanghai, right? Or is it just Magic Kingdom? Yeah, I keep up with Japan, but that's the only one I pay attention to. A little bit with Paris, but
the positive thing is that there is a reopening plan in place, and that is what excites me, because I have a trip coming up in September for my birthday. So fingers crossed.
Kentucky Kingdom, right over the Ohio border, is planning on opening on June 1st. They've announced an opening date of June. Well, I shouldn't say June 1st. First part of June.
Of June.
Which Kentucky Kingdom used to be a Six Flags park, and now it's an independent park. When Six Flags decided to not go with that park anymore, a private company bought it out of a holding company, basically, and I think it's resold since. But they're a standalone park. You know, a standalone park, they got to try. They got to try to open. You know, they don't have that floating capital the way that a Universal, a Disney, or even a Cedar Fair or Universal, or not Universal, but Six Flags does. I've been seeing a lot of CEOs and executives of many companies, baseball teams. As a matter of fact, I just seen the other day that Derek Jeter is the CEO of the Marlins in
Uh-huh.
Florida, and he's agreed to take zero salary for the year. I mean, not that he needs the money anyway, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Danny, you always have something to say about something.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
I mean, just throw a wiffle ball in the air with 20 things written down and you'll have something to say about it. So get your butt back in here.
Then Danny randomly show up. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm just excited that there is a reopening plan. I know there's a lot of people who are bummed about trips, but I'm more sad for all of the Make-A-Wish trip kids who, they may not get to go on their wish trip at all, just because of, the doctors are going to be very hesitant to go ahead and let them go somewhere like that.
Yeah, my friend has a daughter who has a rare condition called Dravet syndrome, which includes some pretty heavy mental incapacities, along with very dangerous seizures. As a matter of fact, it was about this time last year that they put her on the first ever what's the CBC oil? Is that it?
CBD.
Yeah, CBD. It's actually an FDA-approved CBD medication, and it works bilaterally. She takes it every day, and then if she starts a seizure, he puts a drop on her tongue, and he says they just kind of slow down and stop. It's amazing.
But is it too soon for a reopening?
I think that it can and can't be. I mean,
yeah,
we're getting to a point where we are seeing if Disney or Universal, with Danny showing up after leaving, that is definitely a random world of randomness issue. I don't think it's too soon to reopen. I think it's too soon for them to go, okay, here's all 4 parks, cram in there and let's ride rides. I think that any park.
Danny's just bursting to say something.
Go ahead, Danny.
I personally think it is a little too soon to be reopening things, in my opinion. Realistically, they're pushing things right now for overseas parks to be opening right now. Yes, because they had this happen before we did, but now we're pushing things way too hard right now. I know here in Georgia they're pushing stuff way too hard. They're pushing for bowling alleys to be open. They're pushing for restaurants to be open by this Friday. Okay, it's too soon, honestly. And
I want to go
for a theme park
with bowling alleys.
Theme park. Let's think of. Hold on. For a theme park, let's think of what we're going to deal with. We're dealing with.
Welcome in, Jordan.
I'll go with Six Flags, okay? Because that's what I go to. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jordan, what's going on, buddy? We got close proximity. We have restraints, okay? Even on Rock and Roller Coaster in Disney, we have restraints. I mean, Everest, we got a lap bar. We have too much stuff being contacted. We have too much things that right now everybody's like, oh, I want out. But realistically, we're going to open up and we're going to have a spike because of theme parks. Okay, theme parks need to slow down. Disney's doing it right now. Disney's not looking to do anything here in Orlando. From what I'm seeing reports for Disney World saying that they may not reopen this year. Straight up, honestly, like they're like, don't force us.
Well, look how well they handled Shanghai and Hong Kong. I mean, before really anything started to close down, I mean, the Wuhan province was under a lockdown order. Shanghai is not near Wuhan. I mean, it's probably a farther distance between me and you, Danny. And Disney kept looking at the situation, was finally like, we're gonna shut this down. And I believe that Disney is the one that made the recommendation. Disney does not have the final say on whether that park closes or not. The Chinese government does.
Because they don't own it.
Yep. Now, no, they have a share of it. They have 27%. Right. So they only have rights
to... Go back and look at the time frame of that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how many months it was that they were closed. A lot longer than we were over here.
Yeah,
okay.
They closed.
A lot longer than any theme park over here has been closed.
Was that the end of January when they closed China?
Yes.
So, and what, roughly
middle to end, yeah.
later for United States parks?
They're actually reopening everything. They are I'm going to say they're going to restart the state of Kansas starting May 3rd. Everything opens back up. Theme parks, hairdressers, restaurants, everything reopens May 3rd. I'm excited because I really need to get my hair done.
Now, here's my thing. And Danny said one key thing here that, I mean, because I work there, I work at a place like this, and I am part of that community as far as participating in it. And there are many things that are just like it in the sense of what I want to say. You take a bowling alley. You're going to reopen, and you're still going to tell people we should be maintaining a 6-foot distance. You can't do that in a bowling alley. It's especially when I bowl in a league that is 20 teams times 4 plus everybody that hangs out during that time. That's a lot of people. And
your bowling alley's closed.
So what are they going to do? Shut?
Yes.
Ours didn't.
Yeah.
Ours is still having league bowling on Monday nights.
Oh no. On a Sunday night, they announced all bars and restaurants. The following night, I got a call from my boss, and he goes, we're going to be closed for a while. Now they have a restaurant in there, and they just opened back up just to serve takeout food. They had to go through a bunch of hoops just to get that done because the building is so large and the kitchen is so small, but it does so much business. They kept appealing to the state, we need to be open for this. But they're like, you have to come in and get it. And they're like, you know what? We'll walk it out to people's cars. So they just opened tonight to start serving food again.
Hello, neighborhood blogs. Welcome in. Bia, welcome in. Sorry if I butchered.
Oh, that's my mother. Hey, Mom.
That's Danny's mama.
Hi, Danny's mom.
Yeah. Hey, and it's Taco Tuesday. Did you go get some tacos?
I had tacos.
They're still closed up there.
I had Weight Watchers friendly nachos for lunch. Does that count?
You know what? It's closer than what I had.
Close enough.
Half a cup of taco meat with some sauteed jalapenos, 1 ounce of shredded Fiesta cheese, over 14 chips.
Yep, she definitely lives in Kansas. Jalapenos. Jalapenos.
Okay, how do you say it then?
Jalapeno.
Jalapenos.
That just reminds me of Jeff Dunham. Jalapeno on a steak.
Did you see the jelly bean on a stick there in my at home Six Flags video?
I didn't see it. A jelly bean on a stick?
I didn't catch that.
Hold on. Let me go grab him.
Danny's got to go.
Does the jelly bean on a stick have a name?
Well, I wasn't going to ask because I'd be scared to find out.
Jordan says my retail job reopened this weekend, and it was pretty damn stressful. Wasn't a fan. Well, I hope the stress level comes down for you, Jordan.
See, our area really has not been affected that badly. I mean, we're a county of roughly 13 to 15,000, and right now we've got 17 known cases. But we just I'm just going to sit.
It's like a flaming radish.
I'm just going to sit here and take this in. It feels like something I would see like an Adult Swim commercial.
Well, So have you ever seen my 6-Flags
I
videos?
could not unhear that.
They have the giant. They have the giant jelly beans sitting on the bench, and he's got his little like chef hat on, which we made him a little chef hat. His face, and that's. Exactly.
Danny's mom, did you know that Taco Bell does free tacos every Tuesday? Through this
No.
and so you can go get a free taco. Put your hand in behind it, Danny, because it's like really blurry.
Could be his big head.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's still not working, Danny.
Yeah, it's still not working.
No, I know. It's a jelly bean. It's way too small. I mean, he's on a hanger.
Jelly bean has feelings too.
The only thing they feel is
we made him alive.
Chew him up.
So does the jelly bean have a name? Is my own, and I'm actually regretting asking this question.
No, he doesn't have a name.
What's his name, Danny?
Not that I'm
Give
aware
him
of.
a name.
Jelly bean. I don't know. He doesn't have one.
That's Mr. Jelly Bean to you.
That's Mr. Bean.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Mr. Bean, first name Jelly.
There you go. What's going on,
We never
JD?
gave him a name, so.
Everything has to have a name. Even my truck has a name. My truck's name is Snowball.
Oh, jeez.
Well, here's the thing. You never name your food, or else you'll never eat it.
That's why I don't have pets, other than Peaches.
Yeah, it's like every year I walk through the fair because we're a pretty big agricultural community. So at the fair, the kids showing their animals is a huge
Patrick
deal.
said beanie.
Yeah. And every year you go through and every kid is given their animal a name, knowing that they're going to sell these animals at the junior market, and someone's going to chop that head off and put him on a spit. You know, somebody's going to pay $10,000 for Peaches the pig, and is going to roast him on a spit.
That prize-winning pig, it become some pork chops and some bacon and ham.
Yeah, you can't tell the little third and fourth graders that, because you're going to traumatize them for life.
Why not?
Oh, these kids know it. They're FFA kids. They know.
Oh,
they
yeah.
know 4-H and FFA.
If they're at the state fair, the county fair, they know.
Yeah.
We had Wilbur for dinner.
They're like, yeah, we know. We heard it.
You walk through the animal barns, and every kid has the same brand of jeans on. Wrangler.
Levi.
No, Wrangler. Because Levi would be two-name brand. I mean, literally. And they're all straight-cut jeans. And
they're all in Western wear from the Tractor Supply Company.
Yep.
See, and you're telling this to her where she lives in this area.
I know.
I mean, come on.
Well, I know. I mean, really, we don't live too far apart in the worlds that we live in. I mean, literally, the town I live in is maybe 300 people at the very most. So, I mean, it's quiet.
The only reason Sam still's going to work is because he's been deemed essential, because they build trailers and tractors for farming and for stuff. So he's down to working 3 days a week. He works Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday now. But that's the only reason he's deemed essential, is because of that. Because apparently we all like to eat, and that means that we need the farmers.
I like to eat.
I do too. That's why I weigh 300 pounds.
Yeah. See, that I'm not far from it.
That's why I jumped back on my Weight Watcher stuff.
Yeah.
And we probably don't eat nearly like Danny does, and he weighs like 48.25 pounds
I know.
at 7'3".
Exactly.
How much do you weigh, Danny? Are you over 200? I mean, because you're tall.
No.
No?
No.
Me
Almost,
neither.
but no.
Me neither. I couldn't even say that really back in high school.
I weigh a lot less now. I weigh a lot less now, I'm going to tell you that. But
You know, I'll bet you your wife cut off 5
after
pounds
last
of
night,
hair.
I mean,
You probably lost 100 pounds of hair.
I swear it looked like we killed a Muppet.
You should have weighed it.
You should have videoed that.
Yeah, we thought of it as after we did like
That's when
most
you glue
back,
it back
and we're like,
on
oh,
and
we
do
should
it again.
took the video of this.
I bet you Jess would be more than happy to super glue that to your head and then she'll rip it out.
I don't even want to like the she did it in the bathtub. She put a stool in the second bathroom and then the bathtub, and yeah, that.
Thank you for that,
I
John.
know that drain. I really got to clean that drain out. That's gonna be a project tomorrow.
Yeah, there is nothing worse than getting hair down a drain. And, you know, with having my wife, whose hair isn't super long, but my daughter, her hair is pretty long, and they both shower in the same bathroom. I went and bought those. They just look like zip ties, only down at the bottom they're curved. They
don't work.
Oh, they do on this one.
With the hooks on them?
Yes.
With the
hooks?
Believe
the stuff I pull out of mine.
Yeah. They never worked for me.
I use them. My
like
hair
I literally, I got to do it the old-fashioned way with the coat hanger.
Yeah, I was going to do.
I do it the old-fashioned way of shoving my fingers down the bathtub drain and yanking.
Yeah, this is short. Take a needle nose plier and.
Sometimes it looks like I pulled a mouse out of the bathtub drain.
When we first moved in,
my hair.
Again, it looks like I pulled like wet Muppets out.
Yeah, when we first moved in, my wife got in the shower the first night because we had to shower in the guest bathroom. That's where we keep our guest toilet paper. First couple of nights because because the water is really hard here, so that shower was really gummed up. Man. When I took it down and I put it in a CLR bath, when I went to put it back up, I snapped the valve on it when I was putting it up. So I was like, well, we'll take a shower in there for a couple of nights, get a new spigot for it tomorrow. And I put it on, and I was standing in the shower with I was getting up to almost a foot of water, and I'm like, yeah, they didn't do a very good job. I pulled out a clump of hair, and when I got it out, I'll bet you it was every bit of that long and that big around. I mean, I got it and I ripped it up through, and I mean, it came out and it literally went pop up out because you get those guards on the drain, and it just went from all this. And I'm like, how could you own a house and not keep that stuff? I mean, that's a simple 2-second job. I mean, like you said, with a coat hanger even.
Well, that's like when I moved into this apartment, I had to do it. I had to do it that way. And I was like, okay,
just want to
this is great. I'm pulling other people's hair out.
That Tony not only has main bathroom toilet paper, but guest bathroom toilet paper. Just wanting to point that out.
So do I.
Well, yeah, Danny only has guest toilet paper.
We have one bathroom.
You know what? We did that.
That's the good toilet paper.
I guarantee that Tony's apartment is bigger than my house.
What, my house? I got a pretty good sized house.
Listen,
Danny's?
Danny's apartment is probably bigger than my house.
I don't know.
What do you got? One bathroom or one bedroom? One bathroom.
It pretty much.
No, I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah, yours is bigger than your apartment is bigger than my house. I have they call them Jack and Jill houses. It's where the 2 bedrooms are on each side and there's 1 bathroom.
Yep.
And literally, the only people who could live in this house is like Sam and I who don't have kids, or two like college kids, like who could share like a bathroom from each side and make the kitchen and like the space where my craft room is like a communal living space. Other than that, if Sam and I could have kids, we wouldn't be able to live here because it's just not big enough.
Yeah, when we moved to this area, we were renting a house. Now, mind you, this is advertised as a 2, possibly 3 bedroom house. So, and we started renting it at a time when houses were scarce. I don't know why. You just get those times where houses are scarce. Mm-hmm. And we moved in. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, our kids were like 4, 7, and 8. And so they were small. So
are you giving us a phone number or their ages?
Their ages.
Jeez. That sounds like a phone number.
Well, I'm not even telling you about the 25-year-old or the 28-year-old.
8675309.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Here's something for you. I chose all of them. I didn't have any of them. All my kids are chosen. I mean, I didn't create anything.
They're the chosen ones.
I had to go out and buy children.
You have been chosen.
Tony had a giant claw.
Yeah. Like Brandon, we brought him home from the hospital. His brother Matthew came home at 7 days old.
You can't go to the hospital and just take random kids, Tony. You got to stop that.
Well, I can. I went in, I walked up and down the aisle, and I found the one I wanted, and I walked out with it.
Like a car. You're like,
yeah.
Can I test drive this one?
That's what I did. I mean, I took him home for a test drive.
It's like a couple weeks, like
brought him back.
Like FBI like knocking on Tony's door. Like we saw this stream was presented to us on YouTube. We need to have a chat with you about your children.
We got some tips about this. What's this about? Just come with us, sir.
And they'd be like, we had to call off our Carol Baskin investigation just to come look at you.
So would you own a zoo?
Would I? I practically do.
Yeah.
We're just all kids.
Come on, you know you want to open.
And then I've got
a zoo where you can go where people can come and feed the animals, and
I can just send them to your place.
I mean, I'm probably one animal away from having to get a license, so I mean, whatever. I mean,
tell yourself what you want. You know you should be having a license now. I'll tell you what. All you need to
now I'm going to have the Georgia State fishing. No.
No. You know what?
No.
Jess can go outside and bring in that rat snake.
No.
And then you have your zoo.
I swear. No.
I think
that ain't happening, Tony.
Oh, I was watching Storage Wars the other day, Danny, and I thought of you because they found snake skeletons.
Not for nothing. It's kind of hard not to think of me, so I appreciate this. Go ahead.
It had snake skeletons and a snake bite kit, and then it was snakeskin boots and a belt with a buckle and like a Western hat with a Rattler band on it. I'm like, Danny would hate that.
What the hell is wrong with people? Why would you? Why?
And they
no.
fangs of one of the snakes like capped because like even in death they're still venomous. I was like, Danny would hate this if he would change the channel.
Look, it's to the point. If I see something like on Facebook or something, I'm on my phone scrolling through Facebook. I see something with a snake pop up, and I'm like, no, we're not touching it. I try to scroll up some other way without going over that picture, and just it's bad. No. It's just not happening. John, this is like Mark Wahlberg buying a zoo in the movie. No, but it's not a movie. We're talking for real here.
Yeah, and he had.
Come on, you know, if you could, you would own a zoo. Come on.
I know if I had.
Jess, would you own a zoo?
Yeah.
Jess would.
There's a rat snake at the door. He's looking for a home.
What the? Jess, I swear to God, Jess.
How did she know that?
He said he heard you wanted him to come live here.
Jess, I'm going to hurt you. Get out of my room.
How would she even know to come?
Tell him that I'm not home, that I'm never going to be back.
Standing up at the door, like.
No, I don't care how he's standing up at the door doing some weird freaky dance.
Hey, look at it like this.
It's not funny.
At least she didn't bring you another fishing reel. I mean, she could have brought you another fishing reel.
I'd rather have another fishing reel. She already brought home a snake skeleton that she found. I can't.
All right, Lena.
I can't. Oh my God.
America, try not to cry.
I hate why do these things have to exist?
They have no legs, but yet they move faster than I do. There's something evil about them.
They could totally catch Danny even if he was running from it.
That's right, Danny.
I know. They can eat me whole.
There could be an anaconda out in your yard.
I don't care. You need to stop.
Hey, I am just as bad. I am just as bad with snakes.
Fish already, so yeah, I don't a zoo.
Patrick, you also have 27 kids.
Look, I mean, really.
I think he has the same. I think he has 4 kids like I do, doesn't he?
I'm not even going to answer that.
I am.
But
well,
like
to
do
that.
something like I'm talking like go and do something like a Joe Exotic. Like, I mean, obviously not with tigers, but I mean, come on, it'd be great.
Do a bunch of meth and get a bunch of animals.
No, not like that. Do it like
good.
He said
Lord,
7, by the way, Tony.
Whew. Patrick, you know what causes this, right?
One of my friends is on baby number 8.
Good Lord!
Wow.
I sent her condoms as a baby shower gift.
I got a friend of mine.
That is, yeah.
Now, mind you, I'm 45 and Caitlin is 8 years old. I've already come to the realization that they may have to roll me in a wheelchair for her graduation. Now, I have a friend of mine who's about 7 years older than me. He has a son the same age as me. He is 51, and his son just turned 9. He's got a ways to go. He's going to be able to. He's going to be able to chaperone his son's dates and use his AARP discount in a couple of years.
That is a lot of shrimp. That is great. See, I can do a deal with the fish. That's awesome.
Patrick's comment wins.
I
found
can
a
deal with
hobby
fish.
I liked.
You know, if I had 30 or 40
Listen,
shrimp in a tank,
Tony, I know you just eat them. I know.
Yep.
We know. We get it. We know. Patrick's comments, even in life, oh man, the conversations that him and I have in the park are priceless. I can't even get into it on stream, but they're priceless.
See, I found that I don't even blush anymore. My husband was in the army for 12 years, and I was exposed to single soldiers and guys who have no filter. And so I learned a long time ago that if I started to blush, it would get worse because like, oh my gosh, we could make Mrs. Hall blush.
Yeah.
So I had to learn to be able to get it, just or make some sort of stupid comment back, very quickly.
Exactly.
They're tiny and they just gave birth again 2 days ago.
Are these real shrimp, Jonathan?
So that means if they're, or are they sea monkeys?
Sea monkeys. Although, have you? And I'm sure you have, but have you seen the movie, the remake of the movie Frankenweenie, the cartoon version? Well, there's an old one that was done. It was in black and white. That was real life, and then they made an animated version. And Tim Burton did that one, correct? Did he direct that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, anyways,
yes, he did.
Basically, it's like a retelling of the story of Frankenstein. Only Frankenstein is Frankenweenie, who is Sparky, the kid's dog. And he's listening to a science teacher and watching him reanimate muscular function on a frog by using electricity.
Sea monkey.
So he went out and he dug up his dead dog and decided to create Frankenstein. Well, all these kids found out about it, and this kid decided to dump a packet of sea monkeys in the pool, and then he threw a lightning rod in there, and they come out huge. I mean, literally, they come out like Danny size, like 6.5 foot tall, and if you look at
it was kind of funny. It really was funny.
And I mean, it was a great movie anyway. I thought it was really a creative movie, but that part when all these kids,
Jonathan said it too.
Yeah. When the kids are trying to recreate their old animals, the best is when that little girl wanted to bring her bat back, and then the cat attacked it at the same time, and the cat becomes this mixture of the cat and the bat. But just if you haven't seen it, Lena, it's on Disney Plus, and I'm telling you, it's
worth it. It's really it's a good movie.
It's a very creative movie, and to be honest, I consider it one of the best Disney animated films that's been made because it's Tim Burton for one, and the storytelling.
It's probably one of Tim Burton's better movies. It was probably one of his better movies. Period. Honestly.
And this came out.
I think it was actually bad. In my opinion, I really think it was better than Nightmare Before Christmas. In my opinion,
I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan.
What's your favorite Tim Burton film?
Me?
Favorite Tim Burton film?
So I don't have one.
Yeah, I mean, you either like Tim Burton films or you don't. There's no. Well, it was okay.
You can go. Are you talking Tim Burton animation, or are you talking Tim Burton live action? Because
across the whole thing.
Different.
I mean, if you really watch a Tim Burton film, the live action versus the animated, I mean, the filming process is different, obviously, but the storytelling is the same.
Right.
I mean,
I'll take. If you want to look at it, I mean, there's also different genres of movies that he's made. I mean, like you got Batman. Exactly, Patrick, right there too. Patrick saying Batman.
Great. The original Batman was, I think,
without his version of Batman, we wouldn't have any other Batman movies.
No, it was that movie
definitely
was a
crossed the line. Yeah, I mean, then you have. I mean, how can you forget Beetlejuice, and then Edward Scissorhands, and I mean, then you had Nightmare Before Christmas, but I mean, you also had Corpse Bride, and
that one,
like you said, Frankenweenie. one of the worst ones he made, I think, was Alice in Wonderland. The worst,
Did he
along
do
with
both of them?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That one was bad. That was a horrible rendition, and I realized that he didn't do a reboot. He tried to follow the original story a little closer, and I think for that
he also tried doing his own twist on it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Thank you, Jonathan. Exactly. Like, Jonathan just said it right. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, I'll be honest. I rather enjoyed the Alice in Wonderland telling. I liked what he was going for with it. Did he do Through the Looking Glass as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one thoroughly. The first one, it was.
I didn't even give it a chance.
You
I
should
didn't even give it a chance.
Give it 20 minutes.
I mean, and then one that everybody forgets that he did was Big Fish.
Oh yes, I forgot he did that.
I mean, that was a good movie,
Someone just shared this with me on Facebook, and I
mean,
think it's really funny, and you guys would like it, even though it has no pertain to what we're talking about. It says, the world is now Las Vegas. Everybody's losing money. It's acceptable to drink at all hours, and no one has any idea what day it is.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah.
So we know that it's Tuesday because we're watching World of Randomness with Fantasmic Chronicles and Two Broke Geeks.
That's right.
Exactly.
I'm surprised there's another director out there that did a great film, Henry Selick. Did you ever watch Coraline?
I have.
When I first watched
a great
that movie.
Lena, you would like it. If you haven't seen it, you would like it.
Mm-mm.
You haven't seen
Coraline
is a very interesting concept.
Is that
you
the
have to
one
watch
where
it a couple times to really understand it.
Is that the one where the girl doesn't like where she's living and she goes through a door?
Yep, that's
an
it.
alternate dimension. Yeah. I think I've seen a preview for it.
And everybody has the button eyes.
Movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
She goes through to visit her other mother.
Yeah.
And it turns out that this is some ancient being that basically steals children, and that's what she uses to do that, is the concept of being just like their parents, only a better version. She finds what the kids children don't like, and go with that from there.
Jonathan has a Big Fish collector with the mini novel. That is awesome.
I need to sit down and really watch that movie. I don't know if I've ever really seen that.
Cool thing. Jess and I are trying, with everything going on, it's kind of hard right now, but we're trying to get to the island that Big Fish was filmed on. It's over here in Alabama. And most of the movie set is still up. What the hell is under the... Oh, it's a cat.
It's a rat snake.
I just see this black thing
Kitty! Oh, I want to see the kitty. I want to see the kitty. I want to see the kitty.
Yeah, the kitty is a...
Kitty
is she ran.
And sweet.
But Tisha.
Don't you hurt the kitty.
Come here.
Jonathan, Pan's Labyrinth.
This cat is a pain in the butt.
I've watched that once, and I think I went to the theater. Miguel, welcome in, buddy.
What's up, Miguel? How are you, buddy?
The thing with that Pan's Labyrinth, I'd have to go back and watch it again. It was really hard to follow.
Isn't
at least
that the one with that dead rock star?
I haven't seen it.
No, you're thinking of the original Labyrinth, which was filmed in the 80s. This came out, I believe, either late 90s or very early 2000s. I'm trying to remember who the actor.
And the funny thing with Labyrinth, I went to a Labyrinth ball for the anniversary, and we actually met Toby, the guy that played Toby.
Oh, really?
Obviously he's not a baby anymore, obviously, but yeah, we met him, and we did a whole cosplay, steampunk type style to go to the ball and everything, and a lot of people there with different like the bird from Labyrinth.
Yeah.
You know that weird bird with the eyes in the eyes and for the fingers and stuff. Yeah, they had a bunch of those there. It was really cool. Really cool. It was a masquerade. So
yeah, I think I'm
only
gonna have.
reason I remember Labyrinth is because one of the girls is like, in college, my phone rang in the dorm and like, Lena, we're gonna have a movie night. We're gonna watch Labyrinth, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And they're like, oh my gosh, bring
it's an
popcorn.
awesome movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
this is the dumbest movie I've ever
awesome
watched.
movie.
I was ready to pillow smother my wife.
Are you
the other night.
serious?
Danny, speaking of that, I was ready to pillow
you didn't
smother
like
my
it?
wife the other night because she actually looked at me and she goes, we were talking about old movies, and she goes, then there's that stupid one, that movie Labyrinth. And I go, excuse me?
I'm kind of with your wife on that. Sorry.
What is?
You know, I'm teach their own, but I think that Labyrinth is one of those. I don't think
It's
you
a
could
classic.
Really, it is a classic, and it. You know what?
It's a classic. I mean, it's good.
Just like we talked about.
Jim Henson made it too. I mean, wow.
The whole thing of
What is?
like people
we can forgive him for his faults. It's
they
okay.
don't love Tim Burton. There's no in betweens. It's the same thing with that movie. You know, it's like the same thing with the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah.
You either loved the Never-Ending Story,
or the Princess Bride is another one of those. You either love that movie or you hate that movie.
Haircut's an understatement, Miguel.
No, Miguel, it's a figment of your imagination. So weird. Okay, hold on. Did you color your hair too, Danny?
No, I did not.
It looks a lot blacker than it did before.
That's because it's.
That's what happens when I cut it.
That's because it can breathe.
It can breathe, exactly. There's not a Muppet on my head anymore. You know, like I told you. Remember when I cut it off? There was a Muppet on the ground. Yeah.
No, Patrick, you're not. I love Time Bandits. Problem is, I couldn't tell you anything about it anymore. It's been so long.
Never heard of it.
Hold on a second.
Now, you had told us at one time, or a matter of fact, last time you were on, Lena, that you know, you pretty much listened to whatever your dad played, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, did he allow you to watch or like restrict you from watching a lot of movies, or is it just because you never came across them?
I was restricted a lot on what I could and couldn't watch. It was a lot of John Wayne, Elvis, Disney, and even then it was really rare. It's like I only got to really watch Disney movies or something when, like, if Dad decided he was going to go take a nap or something. So, and then it's just, you know, just in the past couple of years, I've watched like movies like American Graffiti and stuff because they're movies that Sam likes. So, I'm happy in my little bubble.
Now,
Danny,
have you ever watched like Dazed and Confused?
No, I am dazed and confused. I don't need to watch a movie about how I am in real life.
Because that was
Is that Kitty?
90s. No, you're not going to walk over my laptop. Go on.
I want to see the kitty.
Well, I was sitting there holding her for a minute, and then she's like, I want to go walk all over your laptop and spill your beer.
Well, of course.
We're
That's what they do.
that. So
Danny leaves again. Yeah, that's been Danny's MO tonight.
You know what? The gray hair leaves when you cut it. The funny thing is, I cut my beard, and I mean, as you can see, it doesn't.
It comes back worse.
Actually, it just stays there. You know, about 8 months ago, I had cut my beard off, and it was getting pretty gray then, and then it grew in, and then now that I've had it, and the longer I have it, and as it grows and I trim it, it just keeps coming out grayer and grayer. So I'm like, whatever. I mean, I used to be young and cool, and I used to like dye my hair electric blue. And I mean, when I had my long goatee, I used to braid my goatee and dye it. And you know what? I'm just lucky I have something growing on my face.
10 hours later, still no Danny.
The rat snake's in the doorway. He can't get back to the computer. Oh, here he comes.
He told.
Welcome back, Daniel.
Danny, I would kind of watch out. There's a snake behind you. He doesn't have his headphones on yet.
What?
Hey, Dan, I'd be careful right behind you up the wall. There's a snake slithering up there.
You know, if Jess hears this, she's going to walk in while you have that mask on. And she's going to drop something on your shoulder. Because she knows you have no peripheral vision right now.
He's just shining.
That's the first thing I thought.
It's like a diamond in the rough. Strap my stuff.
You know, right now of all the newer Disney films, that and Coco are two movies that I could watch over and over. But when I see that crab get ready to start singing, I gotta go past it.
Okay, I don't know if anyone, like, if you guys listen to like acapella groups or something, but there is a group called Voice Play, and they actually did a cover acapella of Moana songs, and their bass singer sings the song from Shiny, and he sings like you think he like actually goes sub whatever it is for bass singers. You sit there and go, it's pretty cool. You can sort of Voice Play Moana.
Thank you, Miguel.
And you can find it. Well, guys, it is 9:30, and so I am going to have to gracefully bow out because my bed is right over there, and I am exhausted.
Hey,
so
no problem. Thank you for coming in.
Not a problem.
Always enjoy
Thank you.
Come in.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Thank you for the support, and I may listen to you guys a little bit as I fall asleep.
Oh, you know you have our support.
That's fine.
I appreciate that, and it means a lot to me. But every shiny happy Tammy, guys, if you have not done so yet, make sure
all that comes into my head is REM.
I know. Go ahead, Lena.
Make sure to smash that like button for Two Real Geeks for Danny and Jess. They are awesome. They have a great channel. Make sure, if you haven't, to subscribe to Tony from Fantasmic Chronicles. Have a fantastic night. Stay safe and sanitize your workspace.
And Lena, are you going live tomorrow?
No, I won't. I am on a social media break.
Okay,
I went live a couple times. I went live a couple times today, but I think I'm gonna stay on my break the remainder of the week. I might do trivia on Friday. If you follow me on Instagram, I will post on Thursday afternoon, evening, if I am going to do trivia or not.
Jonathan, can you post Lena's channel in the chat for us? She is Papers, Scissors, and Vacations. Oh my.
Have a great night, and make sure to subscribe to these guys if you're not. And Danny has making weird Star Wars noises. Welcome to World of Randomness.
Have a good night, Lena.
So this was actually the mask from the masquerade ball that we went to.
Okay.
Like, isn't that awesome though? Like freaking skeleton.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
Right? Like we did a whole steampunk get up for that. Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate that. See, everybody likes the hair.
Hey, it looks just fine.
Right, yeah, exactly. It feels just fine too. So much better. But yeah, no, we did a whole steampunk for that whole masquerade ball that we went to for Labyrinth, and it was awesome, man. Like I really wish that they did more of them.
Now,
like we did like a whole like pirate steampunk.
You know, Lena brought something up, and I just watched it the other night, and I knew it was a great movie, But The Princess Bride, you know, I watched it with a different mind frame.
Everybody watched that on. It was on last Saturday, right?
I think so. I wound up DVRing it.
Yeah.
But you know, I've watched it so many times, and you know, it's one of those movies that every time you watch it, you're going to find something different. And you know, something I focused on this time, because I learned so much more about his life over the last year and researching him. Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant. They had so many delays in filming because his health was so bad. And there were points in time where you seen, like when they brought Dread Pirate Roberts back and he's dragging him around, you can literally see the drain on his face.
He's in pain.
Yes. And I mean, not that he didn't live the majority of his life in pain, but he died not that long after that movie. I mean, I won't say it was the next day. It was probably a year or so, but I mean, the man was a notorious drinker and everything else. And then I guess after filmings, yeah.
But you know what's funny? When that movie first came out, it was, you know, The Princess Bride Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't watching that movie, right? You know what I'm talking about. I ain't watching no movie about a princess. No, you really got to watch this movie. Oh, it's actually really good.
It is one of the,
you know, like,
and it's right in line with every other great, cheesy, corny film out there that when you watch it, it's just great. The scenes are great. The dialogue is great. And I mean, when he's laid out on that table,
why do you have masks?
tell her she'll find out later. Danny, what time is it?
She looked at me. She shakes her head and walks away. 10:33.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Yeah. You know what time it is?
It is.
It's this time.
There we go. Ready for round 2.
Yep. Exactly. Oops, I gotta watch those times.
You know, you go back to the late 80s, very early 90s, and look at some of these movies that came out at that time, and look at where they're going to be in 50 years. You know, we look back at movies from way back and we place them, and you always hear the movies Gone with the Wind and stuff like that, you know, way up there because there's so much time removed and they still stand up. You can't tell me that in 20 years you won't still turn on the TV and the classic film, The Princess Bride, or the classic film, Labyrinth. Well, I mean, right now they're both in the classic range. I mean, they're 30 plus years old.
Yeah.
And
like Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller. Just, you know, I've got it on my media server. And matter of fact, right after I watched,
I mean, you can,
but I watched.
You can go like Back to the Future, you know. I mean,
oh yeah, Back to the Future. Some of the most creative writing came out of, even as bad as the third one was, the writing was great in it.
I didn't think it was bad. I enjoyed all three. I enjoyed them.
I won't.
They were entertaining.
I do not change the channel when 1, 2, or 3 comes on. You know, it's one of those ones that I can almost recite from heart. You know, and the Easter eggs in that movie, especially the original, the Easter eggs are great. Mm-hmm. Like when he shows up, he went to the Lone Pine Mall. when he came back, he crashed through, or when he went back into the past, it was the Twin Pines Mall. And when he went back in time, he crashed through one of the two pines. So when he finally come back at the end and ran to the mall, he had to run to the Lone Pine Mall. Which that tiny little attention to
Back
detail.
to the Future will always have a place for me. Just because of the year in the DeLorean.
Were you born in 85?
You know what the date is on it? 83. But the date of it,
October,
you know what the date was, right?
Was it November 21st, 1985?
Yeah. No,
November.
October 21st,
Was it October?
October 21st.
Okay.
October 21st.
I don't know why I was thinking November.
My birthday, so. No, it was my birthday, so I'm like, yep.
Well, hell, Danny, we're only 9 days apart, and I didn't realize that.
I think it was. Yep. So, I mean, it's like, you see that when you're a kid, you're like, yes.
It's so cool.
You know, so. Exactly. Especially for an awesome movie, you know?
Yeah, and if you go through and you watch all three of those movies, it's very hard to find a movie and a sequel able to tie things together and make all those timelines work out. They were working with so many timelines by the time they got to the third one that they still made all those timelines work out, even with the people aging and everything else. They did. Hey, October babies are the best. We can't help it.
And you know what's awesome is I'm only 10 days away from Halloween. I'm good.
I'm the day before.
Yeah.
You know. I was just. I've got a server on my computer called Plex. I don't know if you ever heard of Plex or not, but it's like a media server that, and I can actually stream off of my computer onto any device in my household. All it has to have is that Plex app on it. What it does, it syncs up with my one laptop that I use as a media server. And I've got so many movies on it. I just go through, and last night I put Double Tap on there. So after I watched that, the one thing that's nice about the media server is it reads everything about the movies on there. So it matches stuff in your media server that you might like that you watched with it. And the first thing that popped up was the original Zombieland. Then right next to it was Shaun of the Dead. So what do you think I did?
You sent me that picture. I know what you did. You sent me the picture. And that's funny because we were just talking about that last week.
Yep. And so I watched Shaun of the Dead, and then I went out, and I hadn't used my Plex in so long because I don't use that laptop very often because the screen's cracked on it, and I got to use a monitor for it. So I got it fired up and got everything rehooked up. So I went back out, and I was going through all these movies that I'd put on over the years, and I came across Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now, mind you, I got to be up at 8 in the morning, and it's already 1:30, whatever time Shaun of the Dead was over. And I'm like, you know what? I got to do it. So I stayed up and watched.
You got to do it.
I mean, it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If you want to talk about top 10 greatest movies of the 80s, Ferris Bueller fit in there for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll watch it, but I'm not like obsessed with it.
See, I'm borderline obsessed with Ferris Bueller because I'm pretty much around that same age that he was in that movie. I mean, he was in high school. I was probably in junior high at that time. And you know what? I was becoming a little unfocused myself with a few things. So it was like cool to see some kids skipping school and just sticking it to the principal, you know?
Kurt is saying Zombieland is much better.
Zombieland is really good. Zombieland is almost an obsession type film for me. That part where they go into the amusement park and they're trying to find the girls, and all of a sudden he hears her yell, and he turns around and there's that clown, and he goes, "Of course it's got to be a clown." I mean, it's just so classic because so many people fear clowns.
All this to get a Twinkie.
Yep.
So, remember a few years ago that whole clown epidemic going around? Like,
yep. Yeah, it was happening here.
Oh, man. It was happening everywhere, Tony. That thing was happening everywhere. We told the people at the haunted house we were working at, do not go home in makeup. Please do not go home in makeup. Because we all went home in makeup. Like, we didn't care. You went home. It was like midnight. We go home, take your costume off and you go home. You just drive home in this stuff and you hope to get pulled over. Because then the cop's like, yeah, just go. Or in my and Jess's case, we used to go in frequent drive-thrus and zombie makeup, and that was interesting. Or, you go to the 24-hour Walgreens, and yeah, security following you around all day, some time in there, as you're trying to get cat food.
That's not a knife. This is a knife. Did you ever watch Crocodile Dundee? It was a great movie.
That
they ruined by making a sequel.
Yeah.
Because
so that
the first one I can watch over and over.
You actually had those there?
What's that? Yeah.
I'm still on this clown thing. The clown thing. Like, I laughed my ass off because it was on the radio every morning, on the news every night.
Now, here's the thing.
Oh,
imagine
man, Tony. I was laughing.
And the thing is, the majority of what you heard was really what was going on is they were just trying to scare people. Now, imagine this. We have corn everywhere around here. So people would hang out on the side of a highway where a cornfield was, and they would just come walking out of the cornfield when traffic was flying by everywhere. Before people knew what was going on and really started putting two and two together, that it was a bunch of turds around the U.S. thinking they're funny. Imagine seeing somebody come walking out of the cornfield dressed as a creepy clown and just sitting there staring at you.
With the balloon, holding balloons and stuff. Like, just.
And this was before the remake of It.
Oh, man. Yes, it was.
So fact, I want to know how
they announced
this all
it, and then they came out with this. It's just a bunch of kids. I mean, it somebody started it as a trend. Somebody just started. Actually, it started in New York. Actually, it started in Long Island. So there was this dude going around to the rich neighborhoods in Long Island, and basically just standing there and waving at people dressed as a clown.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever hear about the donut company?
No.
There's a donut company, I think in Kansas or something, like in the Midwest somewhere, that would actually deliver donuts to people's homes. Like, you could special order them and have them deliver them to people's homes as a creepy clown.
That just talking about deliveries and things to spook people. I don't know how this sparked in my memory, but I remember, and you lived in New York, so I'm sure you're familiar with this show from being younger. O&A, Opie and Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
I sure do.
Well, when they went to Satellite, so when they went to Wednesdays, they were talking about, or when they went to Satellite, they were talking about this company in New York, Hertz Donuts.
Lena knows.
Yep. You could basically hire people to destroy someone's life. Like you could call a company, say, I want to send a pregnant woman to such and such's wedding, and walk in and say, don't pretend like you don't know me. And I mean, this is a legitimate business. And you know what? Hey, it's capitalism. There's nothing against the law to do it. She's walking into a place that's open to the public and doing it. But still, I mean, that's how people started knowing about this.
They pushed the line, and
because people were sending pregnant women out to these weddings, to walk in and say, "Don't pretend you don't know who I am," to the groom. Now, it may work out after, but you killed a trust issue.
There's something
for that
there.
Couple. Yep.
Exactly.
I mean, because everyone has their insecurities. You just can't screw with people like that. I was okay with the clowns and all that, but that there, when I heard that, I was like, there's a part of me, it's like there's certain things that you can do with that are great. I mean, to really screw with people. But man, when I heard that they were sending pregnant women out to these weddings, I mean, first I was like laughing, because that's the brutal human in me.
But then you think of it, you're like, wait, I'm in that position. And no. No.
Yeah, because I mean, I was married at the time to my last wife, and I was thinking, what if some pregnant woman walked in and said that to her? I mean, she flipped out. I mean, imagine what Jess would act like. I mean, she's a New Yorker.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
She would definitely bring that rat snake in.
I don't want to. More than that.
But yeah.
I have a wild coyote running around the house.
Yeah. Matter of fact, speaking of wild coyotes, have I told you that my wife took the dog out the other night and she's seen something standing over by the garage? And I said, and she goes, it was big and it was black. And I go, you've probably seen the feral cat. We got a couple feral cats that live down in the woods.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's got to be the biggest cat I ever seen. She goes, it was easily the size of a dog. And she goes, that night that you heard Max barking outside when we were backstage. And I said, Max is barking at the rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was that night. She goes, it was bigger than Max, and it was just standing there in the shadows. She goes, and Max knew it was a predator too. This time of year, you're getting coyotes out and looking around, and we got a rabbit that lives in a hole on our property, and he runs around all day long.
Oh yeah!
But I've seen him go in there for the night. So that coyote probably came up here looking for that rabbit.
It's hungry.
And it's funny because
hungry.
Brandon, as brave as he is,
that's all it is. Food chain.
Yep. Is scared of his own shadow. Walked down into the woods yesterday morning to go mushroom hunting. And we get down there, and those cats live down there. There's rabbits, there's raccoons. It's daytime, so we don't have to worry about the raccoons.
Mm-hmm.
And we get up by a big, huge thicket of briars, and all of a sudden they start moving, and you can see the movement going away from us. He's like, there's something big in there.
Yeah.
And I go, well, it's something big and more scared of you than you should be of it. I said, if you're getting scared to be down here it's sparsely wooded, it's mainly all open. I said, you got no business ever going out into the woods. I said, because, buddy, the places I used to go when I was a kid, I said, you'd pee your pants and go running home. I used to go into some like really thick stuff. I mean, where you're basically brushing against trees to get in between them and climbing through briar bushes looking for mushrooms. I said, you got it made.
Honestly, outside my window right here.
Yeah, you got a lot of woods.
Back of the apartment complex. And first of all, like if I put the camera there right now, you wouldn't even be able to see anything. That's how dark it is right there. And it's all thick woods behind my place right now. So,
well, it's Georgia.
Like you probably see, like you look at my in the beginning of our Six Flags video, the Six Flags from Home video, we're outside on the patio, and you can see the woods back there, and I can't tell you the things I've seen back there. I mean, you saw like even on the Doll's Head Trail video and the other one that we strapped the video on to Leia when we went out in the woods. I mean, you can see what they're woods.
Yeah.
Like when we found the grave and stuff, they're woods.
Yeah, my
Kurt, you are. I heard that Bigfoot. I believe it. I absolutely believe that is out here.
It's not Bigfoot. It's Daryl. Have you seen that commercial? The insurance commercial?
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you call me? My name's Daryl.
Yeah. But no, if I'm straight up though, like honestly, I okay. You could believe it or not, but I actually ran into one. I'm driving home from work one night, and it's the only way I can explain this is Bigfoot. Okay, I for me to stop the car and pull the car over, call Jess and be like, "What the hell should I do? What the hell did I just see?" So I'm driving home. It's a 2-lane highway in New York, and it's next to a nature preserve. Well, you're familiar with New York, like and stuff like you like Westchester County area. Were you familiar with that up that way or no?
No.
Like White
Right
Plains
inside the
and
city
all that, or
and
no?
right around the
Okay.
Amtrak in Brooklyn is really all I know.
Okay.
Some of the restaurants
All
out
right,
and around, but yeah.
Where is it? Yeah. All right. So I mean, whatever.
You're talking up in the New Rochelle area, right?
So a little further up, but yeah, we're on the Taconic State Parkway.
Okay, yeah,
right,
you're farther
right,
north
right
than I've
next
ever
to
been
it. So
actually out and about.
right, I was, if you want to put it like by the Roosevelt State Park or something like around that way.
Okay.
All right. So there's the nature preserve.
Hi, Shelley. Welcome
on my
in.
right hand side. Hey, Shelley. And I'm going down a 2-lane highway, and there's an entrance on my left hand side coming down. But it's at this point, I'm leaving work. I was working at GameStop, so in fact, it was probably around this time of day. It was probably a little earlier because we closed at 10. So by the time I got to that area, it was probably like 10:30-ish or so, 10:45. So yeah, so driving there, there's nobody on the road, nobody. And I mean, on my cars, I've always had bright lights so I can see, especially on roads like that. I'm dealing with roads like that. So I had, super bright lights. I seen this thing take 2 steps across a 2-lane highway, and he was over on the other shoulder. He comes from the left shoulder over to the right shoulder. 2 steps. And it had that signature, like, stride to it.
He had that
I
Ric
pull
Flair
over, I'm like, Jess. Yeah. Yeah. But you could see that it was like hairy, I was like, Jess, I just seen this. What do I do? Who do I tell?
And Jess was like, have you been drinking?
No. She's like, if I tell her I've seen a Bigfoot, she'll believe me. Like, that's how we are. Like, we think, well, that's out there. Like there has to be something out there,
We've discovered
she didn't
things we
think I
didn't
was
know
crazy.
about
She
100
was
years ago.
like, exactly. So she's like, call the county police. Call the county police. They're like, we don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, we'll keep an eye open. Thanks, But this is after, people calling them and saying there's a bobcat on the side of the road, until somebody actually from their police department actually seen the bobcat. Then they're like, oh, we're sorry. We didn't believe you all. Thank you. So like, don't dismiss this stuff. Like it was scary. Like if this thing stepped on the hood of my car, it would have squashed my car.
Right here in the county I live in, when you first go out on the highway to come from the city out to where I live, there's a county road that goes out and off, and it's pretty wide open out there and really thick with woods.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody caught some video of something one time and submitted it to quite a few places, and it was believed well enough that people were coming from across the United States to. We probably had around 100 different Bigfoot hunters out here in Shockton County and trying to find this thing. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was either that, a silverback gorilla, or a really tall, hairy man.
Mm-hmm.
There's no 2 ways about it. You couldn't mistake it for a bobcat. We don't have moose. The biggest thing we have out here are deer and black bear.
Right.
And I mean, black bears will rear up on their hind legs, but they don't walk on them.
They don't walk on them, yeah. And if they're on their hind legs, they're growling at you. They're looking at you like, you know.
Yeah.
Front paws up, and they're then they come down. They're running at you.
They're trying to establish dominance. They're not trying to get to. They're not like the chicken crossing the road.
Yeah. You know, we actually have a Sasquatch museum here in. Yeah, I saw that. We actually have a Bigfoot museum here in Georgia. I think there's actually like 2 of them here in Georgia.
Yeah, I think there's one here in Ohio somewhere. I read somewhere that someone had one, but I mean, you know, this is from here down to the south of Ohio is what they consider Appalachian country, you know, and there's so much woods. And I mean, there's something to all this. I don't know what it is, whether it's a Bigfoot, whether it's something that's learned to walk on its back legs, but there's got to be more of them. You know, how does it survive if it was just, you know, but how has it stayed so well hidden for so long? That I don't understand, that we've never found it. We are such a densely populated
realistically, if you think of it, think of the areas where this thing hangs out, though. If it got down and squatted down and went into a ball, with all that fur and everything, you would think it's like a dead bush or like a dead piece of like moss or something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, camouflage. You know, you got ghillie suits. I mean, people wear ghillie suits out in the woods all the time. You can't see them, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it adapted that kind of camouflage. I mean,
Could be.
Also, I think that they live in communities. Like, they have families out there, you know? Like, this little areas for me and my tribe, you know? Like you know, I guess like lions or anything else out there. You know, they live in little packs, you know? And
kind of my thought process on it, and there's some, I've read many things on what people believe. You know, we evolved, but what's to say everybody evolved? You know, it's probably some sort of man. And you know what? You throw all this technology around them, and their brains did not develop the way that, you know, our brains did. You know, it's going to frighten them, so they are going to stay as far away from everybody as they can.
Right. And, you know, it's like, well, obviously these things have been around for a while. Obviously some of these things had to die. Right? Realistically, I think they do what we do and bury their dead.
Probably.
Or they eat them.
Or they leave them out for the animals to eat. Because...
But then if the vultures got it, there would be bones. If the vultures got it, there would be bones.
True. That's true.
You know, not everything eats bones. Especially around like where you are and where I'm at. Not everything eats bones. You know?
Yeah, so, that's true.
Realistically, how do you explain there's no, you know, Sasquatch bones? They're buried. True. They're buried.
Yeah. Hey,
with big hands like that, it's easy just to, hey, Noah, what's going on? And Griswold family, thanks for coming in. You know, with big hands like they have, it's easy just to dig out dirt, you know?
Yeah. But, you know...
Or they maybe take a log or something and dig the dirt out that way, you know?
Well, I mean, that's absolutely true. I mean, I find it hard to believe that with everything that we...
Like Shelley just said, bury them under rocks.
Yeah.
If something that big can lift a rock.
Hey, it's 11 o'clock.
Yes, it is.
I always think about taking the battery
I shall. Hey, it's fine. Shelley said it too, like under rocks. That's a good possibility. Look how many actually other tribes, Indian tribes, used to bury under rocks.
True.
They could have picked up that culture.
I mean, hell, we as humans, we used to press witches under rocks. That
we sure did.
It seems very humane.
I mean,
you got to make
exactly.
Sure got to make sure them witches are dead.
Well,
as if burning them wasn't bad enough.
To get answers out of them. To get answers out of them too,
Yeah.
Noah loved the clocks down.
Yeah, I always think about taking that battery out, but it was one of the last things my grandmother gave me. So
yeah, that's fine. Because that's the hey, in half an hour, hit that button again.
Yep. That'll be reminding you about in 35 minutes because I'll forget too.
Shelley just said something right here too.
Yeah, that's true.
Or did natives learn from them?
Though, if you go back and you look through a lot of, the natives left a lot of information behind. And you see things about, and that leads into a whole different topic if you want to talk about natives and the drawings they've left behind. What's to say that those drawings that we think are aliens, what's to say that those aren't the Sasquatch or whatever they really are?
Maybe the Sasquatches are aliens.
Could be.
I just opened a whole new thing up right there.
Hey, we do live among the lizard people.
This is true.
And I'm
that was the craziest documentary I've ever seen.
The National Enquirer is responsible for more urban myths than anything else in this world. I mean, you have the lizard people, you have Bat Boy, and so many other things. And my grandmother loved the National Enquirer. Every time I go to the store with her, she's
really?
like, I gotta get my Globe and my National Enquirer. And one of my favorite parts from a movie is Men in Black. When he walks up and grabs that National Enquirer, and he's like, "Oh, you're into that stuff, huh?" He goes, "No, son. This is the real news here."
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Isn't Elvis dead? No, son. Elvis is not dead. He just went home.
That was another great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, it really was. And it was really
I can sit there and watch any one of those.
Except for International. If it's got Tommy Lee Jones in it, I'm going to watch it.
I'm not considering it. I'm saying like, the original with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, that third one, when they had to go back in time, that was a great concept. And, and it's one of the rare movies, kind of like Back to the Future, where they went back in time and told a story and every timeline fit.
Yep.
You watch a lot of
Sure
movies with trilogies and sequels and everything. When you go back and watch the original and try and match up your timeline, it never works.
Oh, exactly.
Those timelines.
Exactly. But they did a great job on that one.
Yep. Oh, Kelly's gonna play The Witcher.
Don't get me started on that because I have dedicated so many hours of my life to that game. Shelly, what are you playing it on? That's what I want to know is what she's playing. I have that like for every system. Shelly, what are you playing The Witcher on?
I just don't get into games
I've
anymore.
actually been playing that on the Switch. You would like The Witcher.
The only thing
I'll
that
tell you that right now. You would like The Witcher.
the only thing, and I still play it, is every once in a while, and I mean very rarely, I get on the Xbox One
Mhm.
and I play Call of Duty
Mhm.
just to go on and relieve some stress and
Okay.
shoot people.
Oh, Shelly's playing it on Xbox One. Yeah, have fun with that. It's a great game. Right, Jonathan. Exactly, Jonathan. Oh my gosh, the scene on the horse might come up. LOL. Yeah. Have you watched The Witcher?
No, I do not have Netflix anymore. I eliminated it.
Oh, really?
Because all the series I watch right now are on Amazon Prime, and I decided to keep
Mhm.
that because I also get the Prime shipping, and we use that quite a bit. Which right now Prime shipping could be whenever it gets here. I went to order something the other day
Yeah, no.
because I needed it, and I wasn't going to get it until May the 14th, I think, at the earliest, and that was with Prime shipping.
Right.
And I mean, I
Right.
understand. I'm not complaining. I don't want it to sound that way, but Shelly, have a good night and enjoy that.
Have a good night, Shelly.
Enjoy playing The Witcher instead of hanging out with us. I'm just kidding, by the
Look,
way.
I can't blame her. I can't blame her. It's a good game. It's a really good game. So
Yes, I think the last RPG game I played was probably the original.
Yeah.
The original Diablo.
Really?
Yeah. I used to get into like the Final Fantasies when they were on the Game Boys and stuff.
Never.
But
Yeah, I never got into that.
The only one that I played, and I really got into it, and I never quite finished it. Just because it was one of those things. I like the satisfaction of turning on Call of Duty and just going, okay, I'm going to shoot people. I don't have to wait. I just shoot people. I don't have to build up my sword. You just realized that, Noah.
Yes, no, I did. And thank you.
Some of us knew.
Yeah, Jonathan, Diablo rocks.
Some of us knew before I even really knew. I called him out on it.
Yeah. Noah's hearing an echo. There's some kind of scratching on your end. I don't know what it is.
I was thinking because I hear my voice after I speak.
Oh, that's because I had the headset up on probably too loud, and
I don't know.
You hear it now or no?
The scratching? No echo. I don't know what the scratching is.
The echo.
No echo now.
I'm trying to find a way where I don't have to wear these annoying, noise cancellation gaming headphones because they suck your ears. Yeah, but these are actually now so. All right, so the laptop's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're on the TV.
Hi, me.
Look, there he is.
There I am, in all my glory.
So that's how I'm doing it now. Is the camera's on top of the TV, and I'm doing it that way. So I have to actually get a pair of earbuds that work. And
does it plug into your webcam or into your laptop?
I can't really do that right now. What, the headset?
Yeah, are you plugging into? Is there audio?
I'm plugging into the TV.
Oh, okay. Does your TV? Is it a?
I have the headphone jack in back of the TV, so that's what I'm going through. My
go to Walmart and get a USB
mic is through the webcam.
Yeah, you can get one of those things like plugs into your auxiliary with the Bluetooth, and then just hook your headphones up to the Bluetooth.
Yeah. Because I do have a light set of Bluetooth headphones too, so I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I've got a couple
Here's what it
pairs
is
of
right
those
now.
behind the ear Bluetooth that I use on the tractor when I'm out mowing.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's funny because I just got a set of Bluetooth earbuds for free through at Christmas time actually, and it was for a light display we went to. We did a video on it and we tagged them, and they were doing a contest about who had the best post for them or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is it fair that I'm accepting this? Like I'm like, whatever, I'll take it.
So you just happened to share it and tag them, and they were running a contest you didn't even know about.
No.
Was this that
they were
Christmas
like,
place
they
went
said
to?
The Lights of Life.
Yeah.
That drive-through display that we went through. Yeah, them.
Because it almost seems like that would be the one that did it.
Yeah. It was a college act. It's Life University. They did a whole light display, and I tagged them, and they were like, "Yeah, you won." I was like, "What did I win?" They're like, "Give us your address. We'll send you your prize." I was like, "Okay, sure."
Hey, your salesman's trying to hook you up out here.
Oh, yeah. I got to see him for a couple things. I got to see him for the mic. I got to see him for, a bike and a bunch of other things. So it's all right. Patrick got my back.
Patrick will slip it.
Got my back. It's all right.
Patrick will slip it to you on the way by, and Six Flags. You're like, don't tell anyone.
We're gonna go there like wearing black suits and black sunglasses, and we're like.
And if anybody sees, you'll whip out the little stick and go, poof, give me the old flash.
So, speaking of that, I actually did a cosplay for that last year for a Comic-Con, for a MomoCon here.
Did you say a furry convention?
No, it's not a furry convention. I don't go to furry conventions, thank you. They creep me out.
You think?
But we did a yeah, big time. We did a mashup cosplay for Men in Black and Star Wars. So we dressed up in the black suit, but the neutralizer was our lightsaber. So we're walking around in his Men in Black. Jess and I did this both, and lightsaber on the hip, and people loved it.
Return of the Men in Black.
Patrick said,
Lederhosen Festival Con.
Oh my god.
The furry Lederhosen Festival Con.
Oh god, no.
The furry Lederhosen leggings con.
It's funny because I got I got to head up to this place too. Yeah, it's called Helen, Georgia.
You were saying something about that, I think.
It's basically themed to a barbarian town, and it's a tourist place up in here in northern Georgia.
Was it got like a German village and everything?
Yeah. So basically, after the guys came home from the war, they we had great experiences in this town. So the town guidelines states that you can't have a building in the town that isn't themed to the theme that way. So it's interesting. Like if you're in their downtown area, all they do is play like polka music really loud and stuff.
Hey, who doesn't enjoy a good polka, you know?
Apparently they do in Helen.
Hey, if somebody hands you a liter of beer, you don't really care if they're playing polka music.
No.
You're just hoping that when you're done with it, they've got another liter for you.
You know what? I have to say, when we went down to Disney the last time, we actually ate at the German restaurant in
Beer
Epcot.
Garden. Love Beer Garden. My favorite restaurant.
It's an awesome restaurant. It is
very
an awesome
underappreciated.
Restaurant.
The food is always tremendous.
And the entertainment's good.
The wait staff is phenomenal. I mean,
yes,
we've eaten there 3, maybe 4 times now. Can't remember if we went twice on our first trip, but either way, we had a different waiter or waitress every time. They were all great. And if you have any question at all about any food up there, anybody at the buffet will walk you through, hey, if you like this, try this, you know, because I'm sorry, German food is not as well known as a lot of other foods. And, you know, and for me going there, I know a lot of the food. So I loved it.
I did too. Like, you know, I have German behind us, so it's like I knew what things were. So,
well, your last name is Kurt.
And honestly, you know what though?
Hard to figure.
Exactly. But I don't think it was a great restaurant, but personally think it was a waste of a dining plan for me.
Now, see, the last time we went with the quick service plan. So to go to the beer garden cost us, for the 6 of us for dinner. Now, mind you, I got a liter of the grapefruit Hefeweizen, then I got a flight of all 4. Our bill was $300. Right. So, I mean, it depends on how much you eat. I mean, and you got to really love German food to go there and put that money.
But I'm going to tell you right now is Jess and I, we went there with my parents when we went down. We went to the German restaurant. We all ate it there. We enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying if you're going to do it, then do it. But I personally think the buffets in Disney are a waste of a food plan, in my opinion. So I'm saying this because I'm comparing it to Jess and I went to what the heck is the one in Animal Kingdom that everybody Yak and Yeti. Okay. We went to Yak and Yeti. Amazing place, first of all. Have you ever ate there?
No, we didn't go to Yak and Yeti. I don't think we've ever ate anything at Animal Kingdom. I want to do...
you need to go to Yak and Yeti. No, trust me. You need to go to Yak and Yeti, okay?
I've heard a lot of good reviews on it.
So obviously you obviously know how the dining plan works, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Basically, the menu is your oyster, basically. So whatever's on there, you can get. At a buffet, think about the food at a buffet.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually cheaper food. You know what I mean? It's not higher. So now we went to Yak and Yeti, which is on the higher end of things. You know, a little bit, you know. Jess went in there. She had lobster and this, you know, things that I would normally never eat or order on a menu that you look like, oh, I would love to get that, but I don't have that money. Well, use that dining plan and get that expensive stuff. You know?
Yeah, when we went the first time with the kids in 2016, the one place that I went, well, actually, anywhere we went, I usually looked up the menu towards the top.
Hold on. What, Jess? The deserting yakking Yeti, it was fried something. Like fried egg rolls. Cheesecake wontons, fried egg rolls, something like that, yeah.
They were so good.
They were, yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Jess is missing the dessert from yakking Yeti now.
You know, I would look up to the top of the menu where the most expensive stuff was, and I would find the steak that I really wanted off there. I had steak every night.
Yep.
When me and my wife went for our honeymoon, we went to Be Our Guest for dinner. And I think theirs was, I want to say it was a porterhouse, was their top beef on there, outside of the prime rib. And I'm really weird about prime rib. I mean, a lot of times when you get prime rib, it's not truly prime rib. So I don't take my chances. So I ordered this porterhouse, and I mean, it came out. This poor waitress, I mean, Be Our Guest is absolutely packed all the time. It's one of the hardest restaurants to get. And
it is.
I sat down and she goes, I am so sorry. They didn't put a steak knife on your plate. And I literally picked up my fork and I pressed down through that steak. You know, and I just looked at her and says, I think I'm good. I've never done that with a steak in my life. And, you know, and I order medium. So, I mean, it's not exactly the easiest to cut through. And I mean, it's just
exactly
like butter. Had a few places. I mean, I just picked up my butter knife, and I mean, it just went right through it. Never had a steak like that anywhere I've went. And I've ate steak at some pretty nice steakhouses in my life, but this here, you know, outside of maybe a Ruth Chris, I can't think of a much better steak from an actual from just
Peter
a restaurant.
Luger's or
well, I'm talking about restaurants that you could afford to go to. Peter Luger's, most
ones that you don't need cash or their own. I went there once. Oh man, it wasn't on my bill. It was not on my bill.
Hey, I've got the American Express Black Card. Nope, not as good as Peter Luger's.
Nope. You got cash? You can use cash here. Or our card. You can apply for our card. If you get approved for it, then you can pay that way.
Yeah.
You have an ATM here? Nope. No prices on the menus either.
Nope, you're paying market price. Changes every day.
No, you're paying Peter Luger price because, you know, those steaks age for at least a year.
Oh, man. And, you know, you think about it, and a lot of people don't understand beef well enough to know that when you age something over time, you are giving up some of your beef when you dry age. Because you got to cut that aged part of the beef off. So they're losing beef before they even cut it off to cook it for you.
But their beef, theirs is like this thick, though. I mean, by the time you get it, you don't realize you lost anything. Realistically.
No, I mean, what they are losing, you know, stuff that they can't sell because of the aging process.
Right. But, I mean, would you agree, though, what I said, though? Like, would the buffets, you think, be
the only buffet that we've
compared to what I'm saying?
The only buffet we've ever went to was Beer Garden. So, I mean, for me, in my opinion, we had booked Chef Mickey's when we took the kids last time as our one restaurant to go to.
Okay.
And we decided not to. We decided we're not going to go to any restaurants, you know, outside of our quick service. And then we had that massive credit from their 6 or 7 screw-ups throughout the week.
The mess up, yeah.
And it come down to one of those things. My wife looked at me and she turned the phone. She goes, they got a reservation at a Beer Garden for this time. You want to go? Because we were staying for extra magic hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally, we get done, we walk out, Illuminations is almost over. So, I mean, that's how late we were there. We got to see the last performance of the band that night. And, you know, it wasn't very crowded because, you know, everybody was finishing up and heading out. So, I mean, we had the run of the place. And believe me, they didn't have to take a lot of food off that buffet. I mean,
See, we also went to Hollywood Vine and Dine.
Okay.
But when we did Hollywood Vine and Dine, we had the Halloween character interaction, which is why we went. If it wasn't for that, I don't think I would go back. The food was good, but like if Jess, like I can't say if I go when Jess and I go back down. Obviously, I'm going to do the dining plan again because it's worth it for me and Jess to go there and do the dining plan to do sit downs because it's just the two of us. It's easier than a family of four because it's easier to put because how many people have two at a table down in Disney? Really, nobody.
Yeah.
Jess and I can get a reservation almost anywhere. I'm not even like if you go with just two people, you can get a reservation almost anywhere. I was looking at. I mean, except for Storybook dining,
Point?
but that's
story or
no
the one with Snow White,
the Snow White one,
yeah,
with
the
the
new
evil
one.
queen, and yeah.
Which I told my wife next time.
I tried just for her and I couldn't.
Yeah, that's what I told her. Next time we go, that's a must do. Because I've heard.
Yeah, good luck.
I've seen so many great reviews on that. Just the interaction.
Oh, the food I've seen. Oh man.
And even when it was Artist Point, I wanted to go do it, and then I had heard that it had closed.
Yeah.
And then the rumor about it being a Snow White experience. Character experiences like that, when it's not just Mickey and Minnie and all that stuff, those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Like I thoroughly enjoyed eating at Be Our Guest. Now, we went for the quick service lunch with the kids last time we went. I would never do that again because it's really no different than a sit-down meal. And then our reservation was at 1. And I thought, you know what? It's quick service. We'll go in, we'll eat, and our fast pass for Peter Pan's flight was 1:15. So you have to 2:15. So I thought, well, and there's no way we're going to miss that. We didn't get out of there until almost 2:30, maybe even later than that. By the time, because you got to walk in, you go to a kiosk, you order all your food, then you got to wait for a seat. Then they come and seat you. It was almost 40 minutes from the time we got into line. We got in line 5 minutes before our reservation time. It was almost 40 minutes. To me, that's a BS quick service.
That's not quick service.
No,
that's not quick service.
The food was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was actually better than okay. It was good food. But for me, I'd rather go sit in Pinocchio's and got a flatbread pizza and sat there and watch people go through Small World and laugh at them. Because
I'll tell you right now, you got to go and get the tots that they have in the Magic Kingdom.
The buffalo tots,
the mac and cheese tots.
Yeah,
oh man, are they good? Oh man,
I want those and the cheeseburger.
I sat there, I dogged mine. I couldn't find the cheeseburger spring rolls. I don't think I was looking hard enough. First of all, there was just too much going on. We were trying to cram everything into a shorter time, with more people with us, and it was Jess and I would probably, it's not a problem, whatever. But I'll tell you right now, the tots, oh my gosh, they were good, and they were for a quick service. They get a lot. You get a lot of tots and stuff on there. Like I was good. It was a meal.
The best snack credit we used was at Hollywood Studios. If you go up and you go around Mirror Lake there and go back towards Indiana Jones, there's a little stand at the entrance where they do funnel cakes with ice cream and your choice of strawberries, chocolate, or whatnot. It's like $6 for this thing. And I mean, it's got this massive funnel cake. And I mean, it hangs up. They hand you 2 plates. And yeah. And I mean, you can't go to anybody who does Disney videos. They have a review on those tots, period.
And
but
the funnel cake, I know exactly what you're talking about with that funnel cake, though.
That funnel cake, every time we go, we get that. Like, especially because we like to go see the Star Wars presentation and then go back and then end our night if we don't do Fantasmic. So we'll usually get a seat
And then my wife and one of the kids will walk over to that stand and get a couple of those, get 2 snack credits, and 6 people eat off that. I mean, what snack have you ever seen that you can sit down and a family can eat off of outside of that kitchen sink? There is none. You know, the person I felt bad, the worst for when we went this last time is they had a celebrate, and they just brought it back just before they closed again. It was called the Celebration Donut. Did you see that? This massive, as big as your head, Mickey-shaped donut. And Matthew, all we talked about for 3 months leading up to this trip is he has to have that donut, but he wants the strawberry one, not the vanilla, not the chocolate. There was 3 places to carry it. They were all out. They come in a small pizza box. And, you know, a small pizza box is not that's a big donut. And
they used to sell the shirts for that too.
Yeah. And I felt so bad for him.
They used to come in the box. Yeah.
Yep. That's all he wanted. And I was like,
Jonathan, the kitchen sink is not a snack.
No, it
is more like a meal. That's like 3 meals.
You know, and I was just reading what Jonathan said about the A5 Wagyu beef, you know, $200 a pound. And I mean, that's really what it goes for everywhere. And man, would I love to try some, but unless I started succeeding at what I'm doing here and I started doing some grilling videos and somebody says, hey,
somebody gave it to you.
Here's some Wagyu beef. We want you to just shout our name out. I would never be trying Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned so many tricks how to turn.
Maybe wombat meat.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, I've learned so many tricks on how to turn a bottom round steak into a ribeye, basically, just by brining it.
I'm going to tell you right now. Remember how you said you were going to get into these grilling videos and everything?
Yeah.
I know a channel. I know a guy. Actually, the Crazy Pop. Okay.
Yeah.
He does a lot of grilling videos.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot on his black stuff.
He actually, but he hasn't looked for anybody to send him anything or anything like that. And there's companies now, because they see him doing these videos, they got a hold of him and said, hey, can we send you something that you can, you know, do a review on and show it in your video? And he's been getting stuff from people that way.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, you got something going with that grilling stuff.
Yeah, I need to get out this, hopefully, well, I know it's supposed to rain all weekend, but I need to go out and do my major clean on my grill. And I've done some really fatty, really saucy stuff lately, so it's a mess. I need to get it cleaned up before I even think about doing any videos on it. But I did some, I just did some basic pork chops the other night with my my own seasoning rub on it that I use for like brisket and pork butts and stuff.
Yeah,
I smoked them and brought them in, and I mean, I'd love to do some videos on it, but like I said, right now, getting out and getting that thing video ready.
2 hours in.
Yep, 2 hours in. And if Danny had it his way, we'd have 2 hours to go. That's because Danny knows that tomorrow he's non-essential Danny.
Exactly. I am essential to my bed.
Yep. Me, my kids will
I'm
be
essential
beating on my door in the morning.
To my camera.
Although
I don't know what I'm going to be doing.
You know, and to those of you that was in my stream this afternoon, thank you very much. That was so fun for my son.
That was an awesome stream.
Yeah, it meant more than anyone will ever know. I mean, my son struggles with a lot of things, especially public and people, and it gave him a chance to do something he had never done before, and he really had a fun time.
Awesome.
Patrick,
awesome, though.
there,
Like, you
there
guys had
could
a
be
great
2 more hours,
thing together.
but I don't think that I will be here for it. I told Danny today that if we go 4 hours, I will be asleep before we hit the 3-hour mark.
With the mascot, you said.
Yeah. I mean, especially, and I'm sure Patrick feels my pain on this with so many kids at home right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just the parent, I'm also the teacher. So I am circulating kids on and off laptops. And
when you go out mushroom picking, you're actually doing a good thing because you're actually teaching them nature.
Actually, you want to know something funny? You mentioned that. My son Matthew was trying to write a story the other day, and in his English, they're trying to separate between first, second, and third person. Yeah, and he had to write a story in third person about him, a story about himself. He had to narrate a story about himself in first person. Pardon me.
Well,
and
Danny thinks that's awesome.
Well, no, he didn't do third person. He was in first person, and he wasn't sure what to do. And
I know.
And I was using that as an example. Like, you know, those really annoying people that use their own name when they're speaking. I said, if I told you that Dad or that Tony's gonna make you sit down and do your homework. I just talked about myself in the third person. And, you know, I can see the gears turning, but I can also see the...
Yeah.
So I said, use your experience from this morning of us going mushroom hunting and how we do it, because he had to write a paragraph, and she requires at least 5 sentences. And I said, buddy, when I was in school, they said 3 sentences is a paragraph. He goes, no, my teacher, she told me one time I have to have 6 sentences in a paragraph. I says, well, I'm telling you now, you're in dad school now. 3 sentences and you're good. Give me 4 and I'm happy.
Yeah.
So he wrote a quick story about how to properly hunt for mushrooms, about looking for the right kind of trees, being careful where you walk, and, you know, all the things you got to do about not pulling the whole mushroom out of the ground and just breaking the stem. And he got done with it and he read it back through and he says, that's a good story, Dad. I'm like, see, there you go. Patrick, I would never tell her that she's a saint. Well, for $10, I wouldn't.
But I would. No. I bet you are the worst thing ever. Stop.
If I'd ever run into your wife, Patrick, I'd be like, you wouldn't believe the crap he talks about you. Even the stuff that you know about is nowhere near as bad as the things he says in our stream. No, but, you know, Patrick, I'm running into the same thing with my kids. You know, my one son, Caden, he doesn't want the help. He thinks that he can do it all himself. And he struggles with school anyway, and he struggles with a lot of his work. And it's more of a fight to get them to ask for help when, you know, because they're all at that age where everything they do, at least the 3 boys, is supposed to be independent work. So, and my daughter, Caitlin, I don't know where this child found all the brains she found. She's one of the most intelligent kids I'd ever met. No common sense, smart. I mean, it literally 0 common sense, but extremely smart. And she's like, she sits down, and we've sat down Brandon's 6th grade math, and, you know, she's a 3rd grader, and I mean, she's just like, no problem. Whip right through it. And it's like, you know, and one of the, you know, going back to teaching kids at home right now, you know, they've been teaching these children this common core stuff where you have to break the numbers down into tens and then their single digits and then build them back up into a number. You know what?
You know what my math teaching has been? Here you go. Write them down, add them up. Common Core. Now, there are some concepts of the Common Core that I've learned that I do make sure that my kids know. Because one thing I've learned about Common Core, as much as it sucks and as much as it looks really difficult, these kids, when they get into like 8th and 9th and 10th grade, when they're taking their algebra and their calculus, they've been doing it for so many years because Common Core breaks it down into an algebraic equation almost. So it's really neat once you actually learn the concept of it and you break it all down and you use that method. It's really teaching them algebraic thinking. Because at first I was like, there is no way. I refuse to teach it to my kids. If they want us to help at home, they need to be teaching it the way that, because it's simpler. Well, it's not simpler because in a couple of years they're going to be doing algebra problems and they're going to be like me and be like, okay. And I mean, it took me until I was out of high school before I even started to understand anything outside of pre-algebra. Now I can sit down and do it all because my son went through calculus and trig. So, I mean, I got pretty good at it, but I could not do it in high school. And this Common Core really does give them the critical number thinking part that you need to break down the problems in algebra. So, I mean, it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be, but I'll tell you what, being 45 years old and sitting down and taking math classes for myself so I can help my elementary age children, it's not what I planned on doing at 45. It makes sense, but you ask them to learn way too much when they're younger, but hopefully it'll make it easier for them when they get older.
Exactly.
Maybe they'll be able to figure out how the dining plan and everything works, and maybe they'll be able to explain to me how DVC really works. I'll tell you what, we have been talking about DVC for probably 3 years now, and the possibility of one day buying into it. I understand the concept really well, but you have use years and like, okay, I've got 300 points coming this year, but it doesn't come until February, and I can only book this resort at 11 months and the other one's at 7 months, and then I got to pay this, and
the whole timeshare game. That's all it is. It's a timeshare. It's a Disney timeshare game.
Now I've actually sat down and I've watched stuff on the difference. I shouldn't say differences. The benefits, the pros and cons of regular timeshare versus Disney timeshare. If you actually own through Disney, it's a no-brainer. The problem is right now it's $181 a point. But in return, if you live out of state, you can get a gold pass.
But how many points do you need?
Well, that's the one thing that I did learn that I really like about it is the point structure never changes. It's always the same value, but time of the year changes everything. So when you look at it, and I've actually got a book here at home. We did the DVC tour in 2017 because we were at Animal Kingdom on the next to last day in the parks. And we happened to be walking by the DVC guy. You know, they've got the DVC stands out. And got to talk to him. He goes, well, what would you say if we gave you a $50 Disney gift card? Would you want to go through? I said, yep, I'll go take that tour. Because our flight didn't leave until like 5 o'clock at night. No, 7 o'clock. So we had until 4 o'clock to go to the airport. So we went in the morning, and then we were at Saratoga Springs. So they said, we'll take you wherever you want to go. I said, throw me in the van and take me around the corner to Disney Springs. You know, we got $50. And we still had dining credits left. So we went and ate at the Polite Pig. We went and snacked around Disney Springs. We spent $50 free.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Like, honestly, for me, it's not worth it for me. For you, it would be. Because you got the family. For me, But it also depends. It's like, how often are you going though?
Well, see, that's the thing, you know.
Because here's the thing: is you can go and get the you can go get the DVC. Oh, cool. You bought into the DVC, but now here's the thing: is you got your family. How are you getting your family down there? Because now that's extra money. Like that's expensive, especially for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's expensive.
Well,
Even
see,
a drive down
I got
is
nothing
expensive.
against me. Well, and that's why I'm saying I've got nothing against making that drive, especially if we have the time, you know, and if
Right.
once everything gets back up and running and I can start booking the vacations that are kind of on hold, you know, that money is there for that. But one of the nice things of, you know, being a travel agent is, you know, it's really more of the wear and tear on the vehicle and chance of it breaking down. The price you can save as long as you have the IATA card or the CLIA card is the discounts you can get for like renting a car is like insane. You know, you can rent a minivan for a week for a couple $100. See, when we took the kids down in 2016, we rented a minivan because at the time we didn't have the minivan yet. We rented a minivan and we had it for 12 days and it only cost us $600. Now those prices have went up, but here's the nice part about that. If the car breaks down, we call the rental car place. They bring us another car and they take the other one back. I drive my vehicle down, it breaks down. I'm calling a tow truck to take it to the nearest place.
You go to the tow shop.
Yep. And then I got to pay to have it fixed. And then we're waiting there. Nope, they're going to bring me another car. I want to go. And it's unlimited miles. And all I got to do is make sure it's filled back up when I get it there. And like I do things like BP used to have a really good program. It was a card you swipe before you put your debit card in. And for every 10 cents, you got a penny.
Points and all that. Yeah.
And I would use that no matter what we planned on doing for our vacation that year. Noah, have a good night, buddy. I wouldn't spend that money and use that for a first fill up because right on the other side of the West Virginia line going into Virginia, which is one of the cheapest states in the nation for gas, I had $1 and like $1.80 in rewards. I think I filled up for like 18 cents a gallon. Because gas was like 18 cents a gallon. I put exactly 20 gallons in my car and it literally cost a few bucks.
Exactly.
I'm like, that I can handle that.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that works, but it's like, but if you're good, like, are you, let's just say you can go one time a year. Is it worth it? You know, that is good if you can go multiple times a year.
Well, here's the thing.
That's how I see it.
When we go as a family, we usually have to get 2 rooms, split rooms. And you're talking about around $250 a day. And you're staying at an All-Stars and the amenities there are not great. You know,
there's nothing wrong with the All-Stars.
No, there's nothing wrong. And I don't mean it that way because there really isn't. But I'd rather stay there than anywhere else. I'm telling you that right now. Because realistically, if I'm going down there, it's not for the hotel. It's for the parks. I'm not staying at the hotel. The only reason I'm going back to the hotel is to change or go to sleep and take a shower. And then after that, I'm going back to the park. No, but we looked at about enough points that we could take a trip every other year with the kids. And me and my wife could go down, if not every year, around every year to go to one of the festivals for a few days. And we could actually stay at, when you think about the money put out, including fees, if you look at the money I'd be paying out to pay this off would be roughly the same to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge as it would to stay at the All-Stars. And we would be staying in a suite instead of having to split up in between rooms.
Right.
So it was more for the fact
these don't include theme park. This doesn't include admission tickets, though.
No, it does not. But we've also looked at buying through Disney at that price point, or looking through like DVC resale. you can get points for Animal Kingdom Lodge for about $105 a point. So you think about it, if you're getting 100 points, it costs you $10,500, and you have that contract for 22 years. So so for $10,000, you have hotels with, and I've actually looked at a few different point totals, but what it works out for, because I would like to be able to.
Is it like points per night, or is it, how does that work? Is it points per night?
Yeah, it's points per night, and it depends on the type of room, what hotel you stay at, as to how many points it is per night. And they have 5 seasons at Disney. So if you go off season, of course, what their off season is, I mean, there's no off season in the parks, but if you go like in the wintertime, like after Christmas, going into the end of February, or if you go right after the schools go back in, those points drop the way that hotel prices drop. So, and I'd also like to have it for the years we can't go. I can give back to my parents a little bit. Hey, here's some points. Book yourself a room somewhere, and then you guys have a place to stay. And it's also enough points that if we want to skip a year and say, go and take my parents down with us.
Do you lose them though?
You can lose them after you have, like, say this is the 2020 year, and say that my points come on in May. In May, when my points come on, if I know that I'm not going to be going before the following May, I can take and actually bank those points and put them in my 2021 vacation. Now, let's say that.
So I'm looking at what Patrick's saying here too. Is Patrick, the All-Star movies, the All-Star resorts, they do add the extra. If you're on anywhere on property, they do the extra hours. No matter, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the B resorts, because they are a Disney Springs hotel, and then you have what are called Good Neighbor hotels. The Good Neighbor hotels, there are actually, I'd have to look back that up, and actually Lena might know it better than I do. I wish she was still here because I don't remember. But all the Disney Springs resorts, like the B Hotel and all those, they are included in that extra.
Are they really cheaper? Are they really cheaper than the All-Stars?
It depends. It depends. If they
what's there right now?
What in Disney Springs? There's completely on property that is not Disney owned. It's the Swan, the Dolphin, Flamingo Crossing.
But those have buses.
Yes, and
Swan and Dolphin have buses. So
yes, they are actual.
To me, if you have a bus, so to me, if you have a Disney bus attached to you, you're kind of a Disney. You're kind of a Disney hotel. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know they're not.
Springs hotels do not, but if you are technically in that bubble, there's 2, and I can't remember the name, the host hotel, but there's 2 of them. I think it might be Weston, but there's Flamingo Crossing and there's one other. They do not have Disney buses, but they have dedicated buses that run just like the Disney ones do. And then there is a Hilton right off of International Drive that's just, I mean, literally, if you walk the wrong direction, you're off a Disney property. And I think it's Hilton Buena Vista. And like Patrick said, you can actually find Disney resorts on Orbitz and Priceline and all that. The problem is, now, Patrick, I'll ask you this. You're $75 a night. How much were your resort fees that you had to pay when you got there? Or was that $75 including resort fees? Because a lot of times, like if you go on these third-party sites and you book, when you get there, you have resort fees that aren't included in that price, and that's how they get to advertise it at that. Because, like, what was the one we were going to stay at? It's a DoubleTree. It's a DoubleTree SeaWorld is what it's called. We got it for, I want to say $72 a night. And I mean, it was a huge room. And
once you get there, there's a $15 a day resort fee. They call it a parking fee, but really they're charging you a resort fee because they're waiving the resort fees for that booking.
Now, if I drive down, they don't give you the pass anymore. Is that a resort fee, $25 a night? That's still not bad.
No, not at all.
That's really not bad. You know, so that's like $100 a night.
Yeah. If you park on property,
which is great.
Now, did they also have a parking fee on top of that, Patrick, or was that the only fee you paid?
Now, but here's my thing: is if I'm doing that and they don't have a bus, I'm stuck using my car to go to the park. Now, if I'm doing that, I have to pay to park.
Now, here's the thing: if you're a Disney Springs resort, you can always go and literally the B resort. If you're on the front or the back side of the resort, you're looking at the bus station. I mean, if you're in Disney Springs, it's literally right across the street. You can get out and walk. There's a bridge that walks over top of the drive and walks right down, and it's like a 50, maybe more. Probably more like 150, 200 foot walk to get to where the bus stations start. And you can go right back to the parks. Actually, I take that back. I think they quit going back to the parks. You'd have to bus to one of the resorts and then catch a bus.
See my problem there?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm not. But I think if you are a Disney Springs resort hotel, you have to provide transportation to and from the parks the way that Disney does. And a lot of the good neighbor hotels, they provide transportation as well. They may not run as often, but they do have buses that run to and from the parks. But one of the things that Disney started doing just before they closed down that really bugged me, and you were just at one of them, Caribbean Beach, cut off. A bus comes only once an hour now because you got the Skyliner.
Yeah.
So they're trying to eliminate having to run buses all the time there during the day. And first thing in the morning and at closing time of the park is the only time they have continuing buses coming to the resort. But they had just started.
But even then, there wasn't that much.
So, it makes sense to slow down the buses going there. But what if you got someone that's frightened or scared of heights?
But now, they basically did it with all the buses at the resort, not just the buses going to Hollywood Studios or to Epcot. I could understand if you did that, right?
Yep.
They cut down everybody going to Blizzard Beach and this and that. Like they did it to everyone. Why?
Oh, really?
If you're going to the Magic Kingdom, why do I need to wait an hour before that bus comes?
True.
Only time they run like maybe 2 an hour is during the park open and then the park close. Actually, park close, they run a lot more than 2 an hour. They're trying to get you the hell out of there. Let's be real. They want you gone.
I'll tell you what, that night that me and 3 of the kids stayed for extra magic hours at Epcot, my wife and Caden went back home. No, Matthew, because his feet was hurting. And so me and 3 of the kids stuck around and we hit up some rides. And then, 1 a.m. comes. Now they're closed. So it's like, oh, shit. I wanted to start heading up towards the front, like at a quarter till.
Yeah.
We got to doing things. And I even did the typical, been doing this a while. I want to stop at Mouse Gears and look for a while. And we bought some pins. And by the time we got out to the bus line, we didn't know. Park closed at 9, extra magic hours till 11. We got to the bus line around midnight, and it was almost 2 o'clock in the morning before we got back. Yeah. And they were literally hammering. A bus would come in, bus would pull out, bus would pull in for about 4 buses, and the line started moving. And we were backed up almost 3, maybe 4 bus stops. Our line was, and then all of a sudden it was like a half an hour. And then here come like 2 or 3 buses, and then we'd move and be like, yeah, here we go. And I've got one kid that is sitting on one side sound asleep. I got one on the other side complaining that they're tired, and I got a third one sitting on my leg going, is the bus ever going to come, Dad? I'm so tired. Then the bus comes, we all sit down, and they're wide awake. And I'm like, now here's where you need to sleep. I mean, we were dragging coming home because it was late. And of course, I'm one of those people. I'm like you. When I know that park's about to open, I want to be on that first bus heading there. I want to stand up at the front of that rope.
Actually, I'm not that person. I'm not that one.
I am.
No.
I want to be up there at that rope with my hand on it.
No. I'll let you go. I'll go. Like, honestly, when I'm down there, Jess and I, whenever we wake up is when we wake up. If it's noon, by the time I get in the park, so it's noon, and we'll go and take our time at that point.
See, my wife would like that. She's very apprehensive when we go because she knows that when I'm there, I'm looking at, I paid this much for that ticket. And I know that because we've got kids and we normally have to go when it's really hot, we're going to go back for an hour.
That's the difference. That's the difference. That's what you just said is because you have kids. When I go, it's just Jess and me. I don't have to worry about anything.
That's right.
else.
When you guys go, Jess is the only one with a kid. I said, when you guys go, Jess is the one with a kid.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. But, I mean, no, but realistically, is like with the two of us, it's easier to get around. It's easier, you got a family of 4 waiting to get on the ride together, and then you got 2 open seats, and like 2, I'm like, yeah, 2 right here, You hear how many times you hear that? They go 2, 2, 2, and we're like, yeah, right here, 2,
Yeah,
so
I've watched a ton of videos.
Even reservations for food. For food, I got a reservation easily for food all the time, and no matter where we want to eat, So
yeah, I've sat down a few times and watched people that have done highlights from their solo trip, and I'm like, I just don't think I could. But then again, Jonathan, we can't. I'm like literally hitting a wall here, and we're on a subject, and I really want to talk about it. But I don't think I could ever really go, especially to Disney by myself, because my wife loves Disney. So I don't think I could ever be like some streamers and just leave their wives at home.
I like my head on my shoulders.
Yep.
I like my head on my shoulders.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, I'm not going to be like a lot of streamers and leave their families at home, and because you see a lot of them do it.
Yeah.
And it works for
Even
them.
if she tells me I could do it, if there was any reason she'd tell me I can do it, I would be like, no, you're coming with me. I don't care if it's the guy's trip out to Disney. You're still I'm going to Disney. You're coming with me. Like, I'm not doing that.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be a lot of videos when all this is over, and Cedar Point is going to be a lot of me and probably Brandon or me and Caitlin doing some filming, and a lot of just me. Because my wife is not a roller coaster person, and when you go to Cedar Point, you're going
that's
to
what I was
roller
going to say.
coaster.
That's different,
but not Disney.
Right.
My wife absolutely loves going to Disney. I would never do that to her.
Right.
And
that would be like, honestly though, the only way you can get away with that is if you live there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? It's like, for me, I can get away with going to Six Flags. If she doesn't want to go, I'm like, well, I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go out there and film. She's like, okay, whatever, have fun. Because it's here. It's accessible. She can get to it whenever she wants. Yep. But if I said from here to Atlanta, I'm going to go to Disney, she'd be like, the hell you are.
Yep. And that's the thing. It can be. How long do you say it is to get to Orlando for you? 6 hours?
6 to 8 hours depends.
Yeah, that's not a day trip.
Depends on the wind,
Yeah, that's not a day trip. You're staying at least one day. Even if you want to just go there to catch the opening of something, you're not going to do that and then drive home that same day. You're just not. And ultimately, every place has a lot to do. But when you go to Disney, there's so much more to do than there is going to the parks. There's so much to see and do.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to, even if you did want to get down for one day and drive back, you're not going to drive 8 hours, because once you get down there, there are things you're going to get down there and be like, well, I'd like to do this too. So you're going to be gone for a couple of days. You're just not going to do that. Some people do.
Yeah,
I'm just not that
saying
person.
8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't bring myself to do that, Tony. I couldn't do it. I know the repercussions. First of all, my stuff will be outside the house.
It'll be out there in the field with the snake.
Yeah, exactly. And besides, why would I want to go someplace like Disney on my own, anyways? Why would I want to do that? That doesn't sound like fun to me. I want to go and have fun with somebody in a place that's fun.
Yeah. But I've seen a lot of people do it. I mean, you look at this.
Yeah, I have to.
If you go by yourself, imagine everything you could accomplish as a single rider. Say you want to do a challenge of doing 4 parks in one day and making sure that you do at least 3 rides in each park. There are so many rides with single rider lines that you wouldn't get on any other ride.
That's right. Yeah.
You drove all the way down just to eat at Raglan Road and then drove back home. For that price, you could almost...
He does. Yeah. But that's just a family adventure right there. That's fun. That's fun. Like that is out there going out. Like it's spur of the moment thing. Like, let's go. We're going to get in the car and go eat in Florida, No, not at all. So, yeah. I mean, Jess and I would do something like that too, honestly. If we could, if I had a car reliable to get down there, I would.
If we were within 6 to 8 hours of Disney, I would have no problem with telling my wife, hey, I'm going on Undercover Tourist. They've got a heck of a deal on some tickets. Or just say, hey, let's run down there. Let's go to the park for the day. Let's just drive down I-4 and grab some cheap $25 nights in, get up in the morning and drive back home. I would do that in a heartbeat. But for me, I mean, it's 14 hours. That's without stopping.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and believe me, my wife does not like driving straight through, and I do not like stopping. I mean, I stop to pee. That's it. Because that's like when we drove back in 2016, my parents were down there too, and they drove too. And
there you go. Patrick, you better call us next time. We would be right there with you, buddy. Let's go. Shoot. Heck yeah.
We got up to there into Brunswick, Georgia. Yeah. And my mom's calling me on the cell phone, be like, here's where we're going to stop for the night. Then we'll drive all the way home. And I'm like, you're in Brunswick. You haven't even started to drive yet. You're 5 hours. Brunswick's right there on the border pretty much. And, of course, my wife's, we did stop in Daytona and we swam for the day. And me, I'd have rather driven all the way up into like northern North Carolina or even into Virginia, and stop at like midnight. No, we're stopping at like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. It's still light outside. I mean, why are we stopping? And I wish I could remember the name of the place we stayed at in Brunswick, but I'll tell you what, I'd never stay there again.
Really?
It wasn't a horrible hotel, but I'm sure you run into a lot of that problems. It's August in Georgia, but I mean, it smelled like it had been raining in the room for a week, and the air conditioner, I mean, is running full blast, but it doesn't quite work
Georgia.
as best as you would like, and
because of the humidity.
And the windows, I mean, there was moisture attached to it, like 3/4 of the way up. And that just tells me they got crappy windows in there.
Yep.
And I mean,
it's most of Georgia that's like that, though.
But this place here called an air conditioner company, it says, we don't just need air conditioners that half-ass work. We need air conditioners that half-ass work and that are really, really loud. And if you could get those to us on the double, we'd love to put these in today. We got guests coming up that are heading back to Ohio. I mean, this thing literally sounded like a cement mixer running in the room. And like I said, I didn't even want to stop. So I think that added to the agitation. But it was just like, come on, dude. And then, you know, none of my kids had ever been out of the state of Ohio, let alone stopped somewhere where there wasn't the destination involved. So palmetto bugs were a new experience for them. And, you know, I don't know how bad you have them where you're at, but I'm sure you've seen them in Florida and down here. I told my son, I said, you know, with these ones down here, I said, they build saddles for them. They ride them. You know, my son's little. He's 8 years old. Really? I was like, look at that thing. I said, you could knock someone out with that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just everywhere. But the hotel didn't have any inside, which is a good thing. I mean, because you know how hard it is to keep palmetto bugs out of anything. They're, you know, everybody's like, oh, they're roaches. I was like, no, they're similar, but it's not from being dirty. It's from being really hot and raining all the time.
Yeah. And they fly.
Yes.
when they come at you when they fly.
Yeah, and my son freaked out when one jumped up and his wings come out and took off flying because they're loud. You know, because they sound like a helicopter taking off. And my son's like, it's a cockroach that flies. And I'm like, no, buddy, it's not a cockroach. And I had to explain to him what the difference is. He goes, sure looks like a cockroach to me. I told him, I said, I'd like to know how you know what a cockroach
family,
looks
but
like.
not really.
No, because you find them more.
There we go, Patrick. Patrick, we got things coming up, buddy. We got to talk. We got to talk something.
Well, hey,
seriously.
Here's the question, Patrick. Road trip, and you have cars that'll make it. Will you bring Danny to Ohio? You and Danny come to Ohio. I mean, it's not a day trip.
You just want us to Cedar Point.
Well, yeah. You want to go to Cedar Point.
I do. I need budget first. That's a budget trip.
Yeah. Well, when everything opens up, we'll have to see when the take a friend days are and everything else, and then work around that as well.
Or what you could do is come down to Carowin.
I think it's $20
a that pass.
I don't have the multi-pass. I've got the one park pass. Although I think I want to call them about upgrading it. There you go. See? Danny, I am not just a streamer.
Friends in high places.
I am not just a streamer. I am a problem solver.
You're my personal travel agent.
Yep, I am a problem solver.
You're more of a problem maker, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's like Vanilla Ice said. If you got a problem, I'll solve it.
It's okay. Yeah, look, right there. We're all on the same page.
Well, I'll tell you what. After they do open up, because I can't upgrade over the phone. I got to upgrade at the park. If they tell me you pay the difference between one and the other, it's like a $40 difference. $40, and I get 2 years to go to all the parks. because I tell you what, if I have
There's that circle I want to make right now. There's Cedar Point, Carowinds, and Dollywood that are on my radar.
You're forgetting Kings
And
Island.
then also there's
Orion.
Yeah, I mean, for one ride, I mean, but then there's also Silver Dollar City too.
I'll tell you what, if I do upgrade and I have all the Cedar Fair parks for the 2 years, I think I'm definitely going to. Well, Canada's Wonderland will be on the list. I want to check that park out.
Get closer to that, so yeah.
Yeah, and
than I am.
It's actually, there's somebody out there that's got like a park tour. It's a very, very nice park.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very similar
to
the layout of Cedar Point and the color schemes and everything. And I enjoy Cedar Point, but I want to make the flight out to California and go to Knott's Berry. I've always wanted to go to Knott's Berry Farm.
I want to go to Knott's Berry Magic Mountain.
I would really like to go to Knott's Berry during their Berry Festival.
Not so scary.
Yeah.
I want to go Halloween. Halloween at Knott's Berry is what you have to do. They started all that Halloween in the park stuff. You need to go for Halloween. That's what I want to do. And that's that hit that, then you hit Magic Mountain.
Yeah, I don't
even care about the Southern California stuff. And it's funny because even without the pass for Knott's Berry Farms, I was looking at prices at their hotel, the Knott's Berry Hotel, right there.
Yeah.
Stay at their hotel and get day passes is like $75 or something like that a night. It's ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, I've looked at some of the other Cedar Fair parks, like
what?
Bring a diaper is all I need to hear. That's it. I mean, you got leggings, lederhosen, furry conventions, and Danny in a diaper.
No, if Patrick's telling me that, it must be something really scary coming up, but we'll see. Patrick, you've seen me walking through stuff, and I don't scare. I don't scare, so I'm up for a challenge. I want something that's going to scare me.
Oh,
but I think we're good.
I don't think, we're not going to make the third music break.
No, we almost did.
I know.
We almost did.
And I officially think this is our longest stream.
Technically, we will have the third music break. It'll be the leaving break.
Yeah, that's true. That's because we're not going to make that the fourth.
No.
Yeah, I have officially hit the wall, guys. I've hit the walls.
Yep. Really, Haunted Corn Maze in Jasper. Okay. We're on. We're on, Patrick. Heck yeah, I'm all about a Haunted Corn Maze. Halloween's gonna be fun this year, that's all I know.
Yeah, I don't do the whole haunted house thing. I love them. I got high cholesterol and everything else. I don't need anything else causing issues. Find me clutching at my chest.
But
talking to my grandparents and everything else. Going, I'll be right there. I'm coming.
Nick, what's up, man? You actually joined just in time because we're about to get off. I'm sorry, buddy. We've been on for almost 3 hours.
Well, it depends. What has Nick got to bring to the table? I mean, it could re-energize us.
Yeah, what do you got to bring to the table, Nick? Yeah. Wake this man up because we're trying to keep him on for 4 hours.
It's not going to happen. I can tell you that. We might hit the music at 3 o'clock, but we won't be hitting it for 4 hours.
Well, I'm not going to hit it for 5-10 minutes. I mean, come on.
Oh. Oh. Yeah.
Look at you, you old man. Come on.
I know. Nick said open the park. Yeah, we've hammered on that a few times too. But we've
Yeah.
also been like, you know what? It's
Yeah.
got to be the right time too. Just has to be.
Yeah.
I don't need to
And
be
I'm okay
on.
with that.
I don't need to be on Steel Vengeance Cedar Point, and all of a sudden not being able to breathe because I've picked up somebody else's creeping crud. Not that I can't pick up anything else when this
Exactly.
is all over, but you know what? My body was not
Avoid it.
designed
Avoid
for
it.
viruses.
Exactly. It's okay. And it's okay. But
You got anything coming up?
What you got? What you got coming up?
Me?
We're really thinking alike here. Come on.
I'll say over the weekend, I think me and Brandon's going to do something else again. I might even take the phone on the gimbal and do something from down in the woods while we're hunting mushrooms. Actually go live and do it just for the fun of it. I mean, it's not going to be something I schedule. It'll be just an impromptu lot.
That's
Then
fine.
again, I take that back. You can't do that. Streamlabs doesn't allow that. Although I could schedule it for any time and then just hit the live button.
Or you can just film it. You can just film it and then, edit it to pick up your editing skills more.
Yeah, I do need to work on that.
It works too. So, I mean, it's a good thing. This way you don't have to, if you think you messed something up, you can just go back and film it. And then,
You know me.
It's your choice. I know. And that's fine.
You're right, Nick. And that's what we talked about. And what got us on that was talking about Kentucky Kingdom, talking about opening the 1st of June. And I don't see it happening. I could be wrong.
I don't see it happening either.
Although our tiny area, we just received antibody tests. They're really ramped that up to see, and they're already finding out that dozens and dozens of people that tested negative are showing antibodies. Because that test is so flawed. It's like, well, I've talked about it on here, so I mean, it's not really a secret. My wife is a nurse and works in the ICU unit, and I mean, even though our numbers are relatively low for our area, she's still dealing with them. Patients that are pre-ventilator, I mean, like she said, it's rough either way, but dealing with them pre-ventilator is more dangerous to her than being ventilated. Because when they're ventilated, they're not hacking and coughing and spitting up all over you and everything else. And come to find out that a patient that basically extricated right in her face one night, her test came back positive, so my wife had to take a COVID test, and luckily that came back negative, but we really don't know because the testing system for this stuff is so flawed. So, and I'm not so sure that what I had a couple months ago wasn't really the big one. Because, I mean, I was sick.
But more of a positive note. Yeah. If you haven't seen last Saturday's stream,
oh my good God. If you have not seen it, I don't know why you haven't.
She was on point.
Here's the thing.
On point.
All these radio stations and everything have been doing these COVID, stay at home, concert things. If you were watching that instead of watching Danny and Jess, you screwed up. Because the real concert was at Danny and Jess's house. I mean, the only concert you needed. And every 80s show that you ever wanted to forget about, she hasn't.
Yeah.
Although I did bring up Webster 3 times in the chat, she ignored it. She doesn't know Webster. Because I said it 3 different times.
Look,
She just
she can't
didn't
know
want
them
to be
all.
stumped. She didn't want to be stumped. I'll tell you what, though. I bet you it's probably she didn't see it because there was a lot of people throwing shows in there. I'll tell you what.
I was trying to keep up with it. I was like, what the heck is going on?
She sang the damned theme song to Mr. Belvedere. Nobody knows the theme song to Mr. Belvedere. The people that wrote it don't remember
Jazz sure the hell did. Jazz sure as hell did.
I just couldn't believe. And then when she did get stumped for a minute, she would work through a couple of the words, and all of a sudden, next thing, the greatest American hero. Because I remember she wanted to know the words. She couldn't remember how it started. I put it in the chat, and boy, she looked at that, and off she went. She sang the whole song.
Yep.
I mean, these things were Grammy Award winning worthy. She just hammered them. I was highly impressed.
This is what I deal with, okay? She does this randomly. Like, when driving down the car, she was singing some random song like that. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Stop. But, yeah. Yep.
Danger Bay. Oh, my God. Danger Bay. Jonathan, refresh my memory. Was that the show with Hulk Hogan in it? I'm pretty sure it was. Remember the show that Hulk Hogan used to be in? He was in
I don't, but I can probably go get her and she'll tell you all about it probably.
Maybe around 1990 show.
Yeah. I vaguely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was in his whole acting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can she do commercials? You know what? We'll get her Saturday. We'll see. I guarantee she probably can. I guarantee she probably can give you the jingle from different companies and stuff. So Saturday will probably sounds like it's going to be round 2. And honestly, that's what midnight streams were for, man. Like that's what we're here for. We're here to entertain. No, I doubt it was about a bay where there was a dolphin, I think. Okay. But I think, okay. So you guys have to think of random things for her to sing this Saturday.
Yep.
We're going to see if we can get her. I guarantee we won't. But we could try.
All right. On that note.
But other than that, I think we have tomorrow. I'm not sure about tomorrow yet, guys. It's still in the air. Then we have Friday night with her. This week, I believe, is what's coming out on Netflix and Hulu Plus with her. So it's not that entertaining, but it's still informative. If you want to know what entertainment stuff is coming out through May, I had to look at the date. Sorry. And then Saturday we got midnight. I definitely not missing midnight because midnights have been becoming really fun. So, yep. So, guys, have a good night.
Yep. Thank you, guys.